Chapter 740, The Same Kind of People. The Kunlun Group's head office was in one of the busiest commercial streets in Kyoto. At this time on the commercial street, a middle-aged beautiful woman was loitering. She was Bailey Yanhong. After suppressing the desires in her body, Bailey Yanhong felt that staying alone was no fun, so she came out for a walk. It took a few days of strolling to get here. Looking at the various styles of women's clothing on the busy commercial street, Bailey Yanhong also felt in a good mood. There wasn't a single woman who didn't like beautiful clothes, and she was naturally no exception. She had also bought quite a few in the past few days. Although Bailey Yanhong did not have any Chinese coins. But if she casually took a little something out to sell, it would be a sky-high price. Walking on the busy streets, the strange thing was that not a single person could see Bailey Yanhong's appearance clearly, and not a single person noticed her. This was something she did on her own in order to not draw attention to herself otherwise. Any man who saw her would definitely be attracted to her, so why was she still strolling around like this? Bailey Yanhong suddenly smelled a trace of odor and her heart shook. How could it be? How could there be such an odor here? It didn't make sense at all. If it was true, then this tiny planet would really be turned upside down. Immediately, Bailey Yanhong followed the odor and searched all the way to the 88th floor of the Kunlun Group's mansion, then directly to the top floor. After sending Dongfang Yi away, Morong Chinga was alone in the general manager's office looking down at the information. Bailey Yanhong suddenly and silently appeared inside Morong Chinga's office. She didn't disturb Morong Chinga, but instead stared straight at the other party from the side. The more she looked, the more shocked she became in her heart. Now she could already be basically certain. This woman in front of her was actually really the same charming body as herself. This tiny planet had really given Bailey Yanhong too much shock. First, she encountered Huangfu Xia, a person with a special physique, then she encountered Lin Dong, a pervert who possessed spiritual power before stepping into the eternal realm, and now she even encountered a seductive body just like herself. Bailey Yanhong already did not know what she should say. This time had really come to the right place. Two special physiques. It was definitely a heavenly gain for the seven-colored glazed sect. Morong Chinga did not notice Bailey Yanhong's arrival at all. With her realm, she was still too far behind. Only when she had largely finished reading the information in her hand and was ready to change it did she realize that there was actually one more person in the room at some point. Morong Chinga was startled in her heart and asked with forced composure, "Who are you? Why did you appear here?" To be able to silently appear in her room was by no means a simple character. Bailey Yanhong did not answer Morong Chinga's question, but instead asked back, "What is your name?" "My name is Morong Chinga." After Morong Chinga replied, she suddenly covered her mouth with her hand. This was out of her control. Originally, she didn't want to answer the other party at all in her mind. But her mouth couldn't help but answer according to the other party's request. Who was this beautiful woman who suddenly appeared? Actually possessing such magic power? Surprisingly, she could make others answer questions according to her thoughts? Morong Chinga? A good name. My name is Bailey Yanhong, you can call me Sister Hong right now. As for the name in the future, let's talk about it later. Bailey Yanhong finished speaking and took the initiative to extend her hand. Morong Chinga also stretched out her hand, and both sides shook it briefly. Red sister. How did you enter here? And what do you want to do here? Morong Chinga asked. Isn't it simple to enter here? The purpose of coming here is naturally to find you. Bailey Yanhong replied with a smile. Looking for me? Looking for me for what? I don't seem to know you. Didn't know each other before. Don't we know each other now? And we'll have plenty of time to get along in the future. Sister Hong. I don't quite understand what you mean. Let me put it to you this way. The two of us are in the same category, you can only come with me. Otherwise, the result of you staying here will be miserable. Morong Chinga shook her head, indicating that she still didn't understand. Bailey Yanhong had to tell her some basic information about the charmed body, including not being able to have intercourse with men. Otherwise, it would suck the man dry. And will also completely release the desire in the body, becoming a woman who has lost her mind and is controlled by desire. The office had already been set up by Bailey Yanhong, no one would come in to disturb them. Soon Bailey Yanhong finished telling everything. Morong Chinga was dumbfounded as she listened. There was such a strange physique in the world? Not being able to touch a man? Wouldn't that make you a widow? Although she was very reluctant to believe what Bailey Yanhong said. But many of the symptoms that Bailey Yanhong said, she had been hit. It was again no wonder she didn't believe them. What Sister Hong said is all true? Morong Chinga asked in shock. Of course. Is there a need for me to lie to you? And that's the kind of physique I have. Then what do I have to do to become normal? What do you call normal? Being able to find a man? Bailey Yanhong laughed. Sister Hong, don't tease me. I just want to be a normal person. As for finding a man or not, that also depends on whether or not I can meet the right person. If I can't meet the right person, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life, and never settle. Row. Not bad at all. With personality. Bailey Yanhong praised. Right, Sister Hong, you just said that you want me to go with you. Where to? Morong Chinga asked. Leave this planet. Go to my hometown. That's where you'll be able to exert yourself. The charming body, although it makes what many inconveniences in life, it also gives us an unparalleled talent. Morong Chinga's heart shook. Leaving this planet? This beautiful woman in front of her was not from Earth. How was this possible? Sister Red. Red, you are not an Earthling? Morong Chinga asked with a pair of big eyes. No. I come from a prosperous advanced civilization, but this small living planet of Earth has given me very much shock. Sometimes I really want to blast open the Earth to see if there is something hidden in the core of the Earth that has created such a human planet. Bailey Yanhong sighed. Blast open the Earth? This. What can be done about this? Morong Chinga's mind was a little messed up for a while. The Earth had gone through 2 death tribulations. And both of these death robberies were caused by aliens. So everyone had a bad impression of aliens. Now she had actually met an alien, and this alien wanted to destroy Earth? If she really succeeded. Then what about Earth's humans? Morong Chinga only wanted to spread the news now. Only Lin Dong could save Earth now. But facing this beautiful woman, she knew that she had no chance at all. Bailey Yanhong sensed that Morong Chinga's entire body was in an extremely tense state. Somewhat amused, she asked, What's wrong with Sister Chinga? You don't really think I'll blast open the Earth, do you? I'm just kidding. Compared to the others, the 3 of you are more valuable to me. Chapter 741, Leave with me. Bailey Yanhong's words pulled Morong Chinga back to reality again. 3 people? What 3 people? She was now completely confused about what was going on. A woman suddenly appeared in the office, said a bunch of inexplicable words, and said that she was an alien. Sister Red. Red. Can you make things clear? To put it simply, I come from a very high-level civilization, responsible for maintaining the stability between all levels of civilizations, preventing a large-scale war from breaking out, leading to the extinction of the race. When I was passing by, I found that someone from the Milky Way galaxy had broken through to the Eternal Realm, tracked them down, and arrived on Earth, and then encountered you, who is of the same physique as me, and I'm soon going to be leaving this place, and I'm hoping that you can follow me to leave together. Someone broke through the Eternal Realm? Morong Chinga thought of the voice she heard the other day that claimed to have broken through the Eternal Realm and become the Lord of the Milky Way, and asked, Is the one who broke through the Eternal Realm that Lin Dong from our Earth? And what is the Eternal Realm? Not bad. The first person to break through the Eternal Realm in the galaxy is that Lin Dong kid. As for what the Eternal Realm is, your strength is too low now, you will know when it comes later. It is a realm where you can have an endless lifespan and live forever. As long as there are no accidents, you can live forever. Bailey Yanhong's words were like a bomb that exploded in Morong Chinga's mind. The Eternal Realm could live forever? That Lin Dong, who had won the 10-year contract and was supposed to marry her but ultimately rejected it, had broken through to the Eternal Realm and possessed an endless lifespan, so he could live forever? For Lin Dong, this man. Morong Chinga's feelings were quite complicated originally. Lin Dong had won the 10-year contract and became the number 1 person of the younger generation in Huaxia, and according to the purpose for which the 10-year contract was initially held, he was to marry her. However, Lin Dong had refused in the end. This was the first time Morong Chinga had been defeated in front of a man and the first time she had been rejected by a man. Which of the men around her were not charmed to death by her? including eldest brother Wen Ruyu and third brother Dongfang Yi, the two Kunlun celestial pride. Every time they saw her eyes, they could not wait to eat her. As her strength and age grew, the aura emanating from Morong Chinga was becoming more and more mesmerizing to men. But it did not work on Lin Dong. At that time, when Lin Dong refused to accept her, Morong Chinga did not care too much out of her confidence as well as pride. This was because she was already accustomed to being fated and spoiled. It was unlikely that she would put her foot down and go to Lin Dong even if she felt at that time that only Lin Dong could match her. Her high pride would not allow her to do so. Who knew that after winning the 10-year contract, Lin Dong began to gradually emerge and his strength soared. It did not take long before he became the #1 person on Earth. Now even Kunlun was nothing more than a small sect that could not be seen in Lin Dong's eyes. This also caused Morong Chinga to feel remorse in her heart. According to the Master's sect, if Lin Dong won the 10-year appointment and became the #1 person of the younger generation in Huaxia, it was tantamount to obtaining the entire Huaxia's fortune. He would also be the key to dealing with the Great Tribulation. In the end, the facts also proved that Lin Dong had indeed saved the earth with his own strength. This made Morong Chinga's heart even more somewhat uneven. Back then, the 10-year contract was initiated by her in order not to offend the Zhao and Zhuge families. It later evolved into an arena of competition for the #1 person of the younger generation in Huaxia. Unexpectedly, it was Lin Dong who had benefited in the end. She, Morong Chinga, the initiator of the 10-year contract, had not even gained a single benefit. She had just watched Lin Dong soar into the sky. If Lin Dong had married her according to the agreement of the 10-year contract, if she had followed Lin Dong, then her current status would have been more than simply a general manager of the Kunlun group. However, Morong Chinga then also thought of another problem. Bailey Yanhong said that her physique was very special, it was some kind of charming body. If she had intercourse with a man, she would suck him dry. If Lin Dong married her, would he have already been sucked dry by her? Sister Hong, do you mean that once you reach the eternal realm, you can live forever? That means Lin Dong is now not limited by longevity? He will never die? Morong Chinga asked in shock. It is true that boy Lin Dong is no longer limited by longevity now, but it does not mean that he will not die. If I want to kill him, I can slap him to death at any time. Bailey Yanhong replied lightly. Sister Hong, you are also in the eternal realm? Of course. The eternal realm is divided into 3 levels. Lin Dong is at the first while I am at the third. You will slowly learn about these later. Telling you now will only affect your state of mind. I understand. That's good. There are still a few days before I leave Earth and return to my hometown. I hope you can return with me. We are of the same physique, only I can give you the best planning and maximize your talent. I believe that in the future your achievements will be higher than mine, Bailey Yanhong said seriously. Sister Hong, which 3 people were the 3 you mentioned just now? Are there other people on Earth who are going with you? Apart from you and Lin Dong, there is also a girl called Huangfu Shiyu who also has a special physique. They will all leave with me. Earth is ultimately too small to utilize your talents. Good. I know, Sister Hong. But I still need to discuss this with my family and tell you the reply before you leave, okay? Morong Chinga said. She neither agreed nor refused. It just said that she needed to go back and discuss it with her family. Although Bailey Yanhong could hardly find any loopholes in what she said, Morong Chinga believed it deep down. However, it was still necessary to go back and confirm it again before doing so. At the very least, they should also talk to their division and home before making a decision. It can be. But you must think clearly. If you miss this opportunity, you can only stay stuck on top of this tiny planet, Earth, experiencing birth, old age, sickness, and death, and you can't even touch a man. Only by following me away can you realize your value, and when you come back again, you... Don't worry. Sister Hong. I will definitely think it over. Good then. I'll come back to you before I leave. By then, I hope that you will choose a path that is responsible for yourself. There are countless special physiques in the universe, but the charming body is only the 2 of us so far. I am only a half-finished product, and I hope that I can build you into a finished product that surpasses me. Morong Chinga was about to reply. Suddenly, she realized that Bailey Yanhong had already disappeared. Only the afterimages surrounding her ears were left behind. This woman was really strong. If she had only believed 80% just now, she was almost 90% convinced now. There were very many people who could outshine Morong Chinga. But those who could come and leave so silently in front of her, without even finding a trace, were rare on the entire planet. And they were all the kind of big names that were famous. Morong Chinga could be certain that there was absolutely no such person as Bailey Yanhong. I'm afraid that this woman really came from an alien planet. Wanting to eliminate this last 10% of doubt, directly contacting Lin Dong was the best way. However, Morong Chinga did not have Lin Dong's contact information. Chapter 742 Morong Chinga's Thoughts. While Morong Chinga was thinking in her mind. Knock knock knock. The sound of a knock on the door rang out. It pulled Morong Chinga back. Come in. The office door was pushed open. A man in his 30s walked in. This person was none other than Kunlun's chief senior disciple, Wenruyu. Senior sister. What just happened? I knocked on the door for half a day and there was no response. If you don't make a sound, I'm going to break in. Wenruyu asked suspiciously after entering the door. Oh. It's all right. I was just thinking about something and got a little lost in thought. Morong Chinga replied. Still worried about the company's development? Senior sister. You've already done well enough. Right now our Kunlun group is flourishing in your hands. Among the hidden sects and clans only the Huangfu family is better than us, the rest can't catch up with us. Eldest senior brother is flattering. Kunlun has nurtured me for so many years. These are all things I should have done, and I haven't done enough. I still need to continue to work hard and learn, right? What is it that eldest brother came to see me for? Senior sister. A top circle in Kyoto will hold a banquet in 2 days. I want you to accompany me to attend. Do you see if you have time? Wenruyu looked at Morong Chinga with an expectant gaze and asked. At the same time there was no hiding his possessiveness in his eyes. It might be the reason that he had been in contact with Morong Chinga for a long time, resulting in Wenruyu and Dongfang Yi's senior brothers not looking for other women until now. They probably felt that other than Morong Chinga, all other women were rouge and vulgar. Moreover, as time passed, the contradiction between the senior brothers and sisters was now becoming more and more intense. At the beginning, almost as if they were on the same page. Both of them were trying to cultivate their own forces and find their own circles in order to snatch Morong Chinga in the future and kick the other one out. I'm sorry, eldest senior brother. I've been so burnt out lately over the company's affairs that I really can't find the time to accompany you to the banquet, so why don't you just find another female companion again? Morong Chinga shook her head and refused. How could she not understand the minds of the two elder brothers? It was just that after the 10-year appointment ended, these two senior brothers, who had once belonged to the top of the younger generation in Morong Chinga's heart, slowly began to fade into obscurity. This was especially the case after the Earth had passed through the Great Calamity and Lin Dong had distributed the genetic potions that he had obtained. Many of the young generation's pride began to rise. The two senior brothers, on the other hand, were somewhat unable to keep up with the pace. All day long, they were obsessed between competing for her as well as competing for the successor of Kunlun. They weren't very interested in cultivation at all anymore. Naturally, Morong Chinga was not willing to hand over her life to such a person. The key was that there was also a benchmark Lin Dong in front of her. These two people appeared so bleak. Lin Dong had raised the standards of countless young girls in choosing a spouse by far too much. It left countless men out of reach. Morong Chinga was no exception. This was because Lin Dong was a man who had once rejected her. Even if she wanted to find one, she would have to find a man who was even better than Lin Dong before she could do so. In the past, it was almost impossible to find one who was better than Lin Dong. But it was different now. The arrival of Bailey Yanhong caused Morong Chinga's heart to once again ignite a fire. Since she couldn't find one on Earth, she would look in another place. In short, either she did not look for one, but if she did, she had to find one that was better than Lin Dong, at least not worse than him anyway. Otherwise, Morong Chinga would rather be single forever. Her high pride did not allow her to lower her head. Senior sister. Let's put things in the company on hold for now. You've paid so much for the company these past few years, you should also give yourself a good vacation and rest. Wenruyu said unwillingly. This time, letting Morong Chinga accompany him to the banquet was not just to gain face. Rather, he had promised those guys that he would let them meet Morong Chinga. Making and drawing in more friends with status and position would be very beneficial when he fought with Dongfang Yi for Kunlun in the future, and by the way, it would also satisfy his vanity. Nowadays, Morong Chinga was known as a strong woman, an extremely beautiful woman in Kyoto and even in the whole of China. And this beautiful woman hasn't had a man, which makes it even more sought after by countless people. It was just that Morong Chinga had Kunlun standing behind her. Basically, no one dared to strike her attention. "I'm sorry, eldest brother. I really can't go. The company was handed over to me by the sect leader, so I have to do my best. I can't lose the face of Kunlun and the sect leader, his old man, so you'd better find another one." Morong Chinga remained unmoved. Where was her mind to attend any banquet right now? Her mind was filled with words like charming body, eternal realm, and immortality. If what Bailey Yanhong said was true, then she would definitely be 100 times willing to follow Bailey Yanhong to leave Earth and the Milky Way galaxy to a higher and more prosperous civilization to realize her value. Senior sister. Is it really that you can't spare even a little bit of time? Is it okay if you just go and show your face? As long as you show up, you can leave and I definitely won't stop you. Seeing that Morong Chinga wasn't the least bit moved, Wenruyu could only retreat and ask her to go show her face. He had already promised others that he would bring Morong Chinga. If he couldn't do this, how would he ask others for help in the future? Where would he put his own face? Eldest senior brother. You stop it, I won't go to this kind of party, okay? I still have a lot of company matters to take care of, so if you don't have anything else to do, please leave. I won't see you off. Morong Chinga directly came down to expel the guests. If she had faced eldest senior brother Wenruyu before Bailey Yanhong had arrived, even if she had refused, she would have been a bit more euphemistic, leaving some face for Wenruyu, and wouldn't have said it so bluntly. But now, she only wanted to seize the time to confirm whether Bailey Yanhong's words were true or not. There was simply no heart to waste time with Wenruyu here. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before she had to leave. When she came back again, the entire Earth, and even the entire Milky Way galaxy, would be prostrate at her feet. Wenruyu was confused by Morong Chinga's words. In the past, his senior sister had never spoken to him in such a tone. Why was it like this time? Wenruyu was shocked in his heart. Could it be that senior sister had already chosen third senior brother? Impossible. Impossible. This was absolutely impossible. No matter which way you look at it, you are superior to third senior brother. How could senior sister choose third senior brother? It must be that he was overthinking it. Wenruyu hurriedly shook his head, shaking that thought away. Since senior sister is busy, then senior brother will leave first. Senior sister must pay attention to her body, don't get exhausted. Wenruyu decided to go and investigate before making a decision. I know. Thank you for eldest senior brother's concern. Then senior brother will take his leave. Wenruyu got up and left the office after saying that. Only Morong Chinga was left alone. She was now using her network of connections to contact Huangfu Shiyu of the Huangfu family. This was one of the 3 people Bailey Yanhong had mentioned. She definitely knew the truth of the matter. Chapter 743, A Lifetime Mistaken at the Sight of Lindong. After Lindong left the dark corner, he went to many more places and met many people he was familiar with, which could be considered a farewell to these people. This time, when he followed Bailey Yanhong to leave the Earth and the Milky Way galaxy, he really did not know when he would be able to return. It was estimated that it would be 10 or even 20 years from now at the shortest. It was hard to say if many people would be able to see each other again. When there were still 3 days left before Bailey Yanhong's stipulated half a month, Lindong stepped into the magic capital. This time when he entered the magic city, Lindong made an appointment with 2 acquaintances. One was Yi Hong, who had sold himself a hotel and pulled himself to join the SCC in the first place, and the other one was one of the 3 major bosses of the SCC, Zhuget Sangdao. Lindong was not a person who forgot his roots. Although both of these 2 people were already minor characters to the current him. However, Lindong still chose to meet them before leaving. After all, back when Lindong had just obtained the system and was still weak, Yi Hong and Zhuget Sangdao were considered to have done him a favor. According to the agreed location, Lindong arrived at the Magic Tower, the iconic building of the Magic City and the highest building in the Magic City after the Magic Tower. Today, Lindong directly went up to the topmost floor. Zhuget Sangdao and Yi Hong were already waiting at the elevator door. As soon as Lindong exited the elevator, the 2 hurriedly greeted him. However, what surprised Lindong was that apart from Zhuget Sangdao and Yi Hong, there was another person. Luo Hongyu, one of the 3 major bosses of the SCC. For this woman, Lindong's impression was also quite profound. Back then, at the 10 Years Promise Conference, Luo Hongyu had fought with the Tang Clan's people and ended up being injured. He had finished the upper half of the opponent's body in order to save Luo Hongyu. Although it was to save someone. But looking was looking. One should know that Lin Dong had only seen the body of Luo Hongyu, a woman, apart from Yunxi's now. Bailey Yanhong that was in a mental illusion and had not seen the entity, so it did not count. Lord Lin is here, please, please, please. We've been waiting for a long time. Zhuge Sangdao greeted him and said politely. At first, he had known that this Lin Dong person was not simple, and it had only been a few years? He had already grown to the point where he needed to look up to him now. Nowadays, it would be a great honor for anyone to meet the real Lin Dong. Good day, Lord Lin. Yi Hong and Luo Hongyu shouted after him. However, the expressions of the two were somewhat different. Yi Hong was all agitated and excited. Back then, he was the one who had pulled Lin Dong into the SCC, and with Lin Dong's rise, he had quickly gained Zhuge Sangdao's appreciation, and had now entered the core layer of the SCC, and had become a big shot who called the shots in the eyes of many people. Nowadays, the SCC is not the same as it was back then. Although it was basically impossible for Lin Dong to appear at the various activities of the SCC, however, his name was still amongst the SCC, and based on this alone, no one dared to mess with him, and countless various second-generation people were all scrambling to get in. Compared to the beginning, SCC, this organization has expanded to the whole of China, and even the world, the Kyoto Tea, since when the pressure cannot raise their heads. It is considered the first organization of the young generation. Luo Hongyu, on the other hand, had a grudging and tangled face. Lin Dong had pretty much looked her over at the 10-year contract, but ended up playing disappearance, with no intention at all of wanting to take responsibility. This made Luo Hongyu even begin to doubt herself. Was she that bad? Luo Hongyu felt that even if she could not compare to Morong Chinga, a woman of great splendor, but not too much worse, right? We have everything that we need to have, and what we need to have is big enough. Nay, Lin Dong is a wooden man who does not understand the flavor. Subsequently, Lin Dong rode to the top and became the savior of the earth. Luo Hongyu's heart was even more unfavorable. Originally, Zhuge Sangdao, who was good in all aspects in her eyes, was not even a fraction of a Star Wars compared to Lin Dong. In fact, Luo Hongyu was not the only one who had such thoughts. Any single woman who had come into contact with Lin Dong had such thoughts. It did not matter if it was Luo Hongyu or people like Lang Qingqiu and Shangguan Mingyue, as well as Yao Shui. After they had come into contact with Lin Dong. For the men around them, they simply could not raise any interest and could not find any shortcomings in Lin Dong at all. It could be said that it was a case of seeing Lin Dong and making a mistake. There is no need for everyone to be so polite. We are all friends, let's go in together. This time, I mainly came to catch up with you friends whom I haven't seen for a long time. There is no other meaning, Lin Dong said with a smile. Although his current status and position was high, he did not have any stance towards his friends. This was also one of the reasons why Lin Dong was sought after and admired by countless people. The four of them entered the arranged room, which had an excellent view of the bustling scenery of half of the Magic City. Please sit down, Lord Lin. Lin Dong was not polite and took the lead to sit down. He knew that if he did not sit down, the others would definitely not dare to do so. Only then did the other three follow one after another and sit down. It is truly a great honor for us if Lord Lin can take time out of his busy schedule to meet us. Zhuge Sangqiong came to be complimentary as soon as he sat down. Yes. Yes. Lord Lin is now the savior of Earth, a heavenly figure. Anyone who can meet him is enough to brag for the rest of his life. Yi Hong followed suit. Luo Hongyu did not say anything. It was just that from the time Lin Dong appeared, her eyes had not left Lin Dong and were full of resentment. Lin Dong had naturally noticed this a long time ago. However, in order to avoid embarrassment, he pretended not to see it. Brother Zhuge. Brother Yi. There is no Lord Lin here today, there is only the former Lin Dong. If you guys are so polite, I won't come in the future. Lin brother is right. Rather, it was us who were blinded by a single leaf. Zhuge Sangdao immediately adjusted. That's right. Since we're friends, there's no distinction between status and position, and how we got along in the past is how we'll get along in the future. The next few people began to chat about various aspects. Lin Dong's purpose of coming was to catch up on old times. By the way, he wanted to see how his former friends were doing and if there was anything he needed help with. Since he had the ability, Lin Dong would not refuse to help if he should. The current SCC had become the #1 organization in the world belonging to young people. Feng Xiu, once one of the three big bosses, had now been kicked out, leaving only Zhu Gutsangdao and Luo Hongyu. The core executives, on the other hand, had increased to dozens. As for the Kyoto Tea itself, it now existed in name only. When Lin Dong asked if there was any need for his help, Zhu Gutsangdao only said that he hoped that Lin Dong's name would always be hung in the SCC as one of the most special members. 2 hours later, Lin Dong exited the magic tower accompanied by the three Zhu Gutsangdao. Alright. You guys stop walking. Contact me if you need anything. We are all friends, so I will try to help if I can. Lin Dong signaled that there was no need for the several people to send them off. Then thank you, Brother Lin. Take care, Brother Lin. Zhu Gutsangdong and Yi Hong politely said. Luo Hongyu did not say anything on the side, but only looked at Lin Dong with some reluctance. Originally, Zhu Gutsangdao wanted to arrange a special car and airplane for Lin Dong to send him, but he refused. Where did the current Lin Dong need these means of transportation? On a planet as small as Earth, wherever he wanted to go, Lin Dong could arrive almost instantly. Chapter 744, You Are Responsible. Lin Dong left the magic tower, walking into a street that was relatively sparsely populated. There were still 2 to 3 days until the time set by Bailey Yanhong. The friends that he should seek out were also almost done. He was ready to go straight back. Yun Shi and the girl should be back one after another tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Just as he was about to move, he suddenly felt a familiar figure approaching. Lin Dong immediately stopped and waited for the other party. Soon, a figure appeared in front of Lin Dong and blocked his way. It was none other than Luo Hongyu, who had just been separated not long ago. The current Luo Hongyu was completely like a deep-rooted woman who had been abandoned by Lin Dong. The look in Lin Dong's eyes was aggravated and resentful. Lin Dong was puzzled. What kind of look is this? It was as if a woman who had been abandoned by a scummy man. There did not seem to be any relationship between them, right? At most, it was the relationship between the injured and the healer. The two were silent like this for half a minute. Lin Dong was a little unable to stand it anymore, so he opened his mouth and asked, Ms. Luo. Is there anything else? Lin Dong. You are irresponsible. The moment Luo Hongyu opened her mouth, she made Lin Dong feel like he had a big head. Miss Luo. Why do you say that? Even though Lin Dong already had a bad feeling, he still asked out loud. You looked at me naked. Just want to walk away. Are you still a man? Sure enough, it was this matter. Lin Dong thought helplessly in his heart. I think you misunderstood. It was you who was poisoned by the Tang clan in the first place and had your heart severely damaged. I had no choice but to do that in order to save you. I have no other intention. I don't care. Anyway, I've already been looked at by you. You have to be responsible. You're the first person to look at my body. If you're not responsible, who will still want me in the future? Luo Hongyu said somewhat irrationally. Of course, she also knew that Lin Dong did that in order to save her. However, in order to get close to Lin Dong, she could only choose to do so. This was the only excuse that could be utilized. Moreover, Luo Hongyu had also done her homework. Lin Dong was not the type of person who became ruthless and temperamental after becoming strong. He still maintained his heart. Otherwise, he would not have come to see them as old friends. That was why Luo Hongyu dared to be unreasonable in front of Lin Dong. Otherwise, with Lin Dong's strength, status and position, he could destroy the Luo family with a single word, so even if she had 10 more guts, she would not dare to do so. This time to see Lin Dong, Luo Hongyu also went out of her way. Missed this time. In the future, it might be difficult to have another opportunity. Miss Luo. What era is it now? Why are you still so feudalistic? According to what you're saying, wouldn't all those women who've had boyfriends have no one wanting them in the future? Besides, there are so many male doctors in the obstetrics and gynecology department in the hospital nowadays, don't they just look at the patients when they meet them? Lin Dong laughed bitterly. He also did not know if Luo Hongyu really cared about chastity like those ancient great ladies or if she was trying to get close to him. It was just that he did look at other people's bodies, which was an indisputable fact. I can't care about other people. But I, Luo Hongyu, have never been seen and touched by a man since I was a child. Only you, Lin Dong. Since you did it, you have to be responsible for me. Luo Hongyu felt through Lin Dong's character and started to play a rogue. When did I touch it? At that time, it was just sticking silver needles. Lin Dong was momentarily furious. I was in a daze. I clearly felt a hand pinching my chest, and you were the only one at the scene. Who is it if not you? Lin Dong now sort of understood Luo Hongyu was just finding an excuse to approach him. This kind of thing was not something that Lin Dong had encountered once or twice. Ever since obtaining the system, Lin Dong had felt that he was full of women and his peach blossom luck had never stopped. All types of beautiful women have come one after another. If he had been a scum, he would have already had a good time. He would have already embraced the right and the left and enjoyed a good life. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Then what do you want to do? Lin Dong said helplessly. Of course I want you to be responsible. Luo Hongyu immediately replied. I have a girlfriend. I don't believe it. I really do. Then I don't care. But I care. And my girlfriend cares too. How do you know she cares? It's not like you told her. If you did, maybe she could accept me. Lin Dong. What kind of world is this? Are women's minds so open-minded? He has already said that he has a girlfriend. They still rushed over so recklessly. Luo Hongyu was not the first to do so. Long before her, Huang Fuxia, Lu Xiaoxiao, and these people also knew that he had Yin Shi, but they still willingly pushed themselves up. Lin Dong felt as if he had returned to the ancient times when China could have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Hongyu, what you are saying is unrealistic. Can we change our request? For example, what does your Luo family need? I can help you guys with all my might. Lin Dong. I like this title of yours. Don't call me Miss Luo in the future, just call me Red Fish. Since you have said so, I don't want to make things difficult for you. Let's each take a step back. I only have one request now. You say it. Lin Dong breathed a sigh of relief. I want to meet your girlfriend. I want to see just what kind of woman can be worthy of you. You should know that you even rejected Morong Qingda back then. Luo Hongyu was curious. She did want to see just who had cultivated good fortune in several lifetimes to be Lin Dong's girlfriend and be loved by Lin Dong like this. There's no need for that. My girlfriend is very ordinary and is not as outstanding as you guys think. It's just that we have been together for a very long time and our relationship has always been very good. Moreover, a woman in the limelight like Morong Qingda, I can't handle it. Lin Dong explained. Luo Hongyu directly gave Lin Dong a blank stare. With Lin Dong's current strength, there was still a woman that he could not manage? Just kidding. As long as he opened his mouth, Morong Qingda would still not have to obediently prostrate herself at his feet. Lin Dong. If you don't give me a chance to see your girlfriend, it means that you don't have one and are just fooling me, then I will keep pestering you, and anyway, if you look at my body, you should be responsible for it. Lin Dong was helpless. He really did not dare to bring Luo Hongyu to meet Yin Shi. This was because he was afraid that Yin Shi would treat Luo Hongyu as a sister again. It would be even more chaotic then. Lin Dong also did not know what this girl Yin Shi was thinking. All other women wished that their men would only like her and only favor her. But Yin Shi was doing the opposite. She could not wait for Lin Dong to find her a few more sisters, so that everyone would be more lively together. You really want to meet her? Must see. Luo Hongyu affirmed. Can't you not see? Not seeing won't work. Fine then. I can take you to see her, but after that you should stop pestering me. Lin Dong. Do you treat me so poorly? Since you've seen my body, you should know that I'm not bad in every aspect. The places that should be big are not small either, Luo Hongyu said delicately. Then she also straightened her majestic peaks. Red Fish. This is not a matter of size, there has to be a first and last in everything. Lin Dong laughed bitterly. You mean we met late? If we knew each other earlier, you would still like me? Luo Hongyu's eyes lit up. Lin Dong. Maybe some of you don't like to read this kind, but this book is set up with the protagonist's character being like this. Otherwise, if there is a beautiful woman who says she likes the protagonist, and the protagonist just rejects her harshly or slaps her to death, that would be meaningless. The protagonist is ruthless to his enemies, and he doesn't say that he cares for his friends with his liver and guts, but he also cares for them quite a bit. Anyway, all the beautiful women are all backwards, asterisk comma underscore comma asterisk. If you like it, read it. If you don't like it, just turn it over. That's all. Thanks for your support. Chapter 745 Lin Dong's Shortcomings. In the end, Lin Dong had to agree to take Luo Hongyu to meet Yun Shi, otherwise, there was nothing he could do in the face of Luo Hongyu's pestering. It was not like he could directly strike to suppress it like he did to his enemies. He could not even hit or scold. What could he do? Lin Dong actually knew his shortcomings. He only needed to be a little more ruthless. He definitely could not have caused such a chaotic situation today. However, for Huangfu Shiyu, Lu Xiaoxiao, Luo Hongyu, and these more familiar women, how could he be ruthless? Especially for the likes of Huangfu Shiyu, when the Earth was first attacked by the second wave of the Wind family, she even tried to use her own life to block the other party and create an escape opportunity for Lin Dong. Even the other few women, if they were to encounter such a situation, Lin Dong suspected that they would all choose to do the same as Huangfu Shiyu. This made it even more impossible for Lin Dong to hold back from doing something that would harm them. Even if they were friends, he could not do it. Not to mention that these were still women who were willing to sacrifice themselves for him. It would be even more impossible for Lin Dong to do it. And to put it bluntly, having women who liked him and were willing to sacrifice themselves for him, that was his Lin Dong's good fortune. What qualifications and reasons did he have to stop it? To put it another way, if Huangfu Xie and Zhao Xin and the others had each found a man and had a good time with each other every day, would Lin Dong be happy? Would he be able to stand it? I am afraid not. Therefore, Lin Dong was now taking one step at a time. When he can get over that hurdle in his heart, he can accept it. It was good that their focus was now on breaking through the Eternal Realm. Only after breaking through the Eternal Realm, only then could they live forever and have an endless lifespan. They still had long days ahead of them. Lin Dong. Then shall we leave now? Or should we wait for you to rest for a day and leave tomorrow? Luo Hongyu asked. Let's go now. Lin Dong said. Good then. I'll book a flight ticket here. No need. Taking an airplane is too slow, let me take you on another route. After Lin Dong finished speaking, he took a few steps forward and walked to Luo Hongyu's side before wrapping her with his spiritual energy. Then with a gentle wave of his large hand, a crack appeared in the space in front of the two of them. Lin Dong grabbed Luo Hongyu and directly stepped inside under her shocked gaze. After they left, the spatial crack then closed as if nothing had happened. After entering the spatial rift, Luo Hongyu only felt a heavenly spin and hurriedly closed her eyes, her mind dizzy before she could slow down. Suddenly her eyes lit up and Lin Dong had taken her to a new place. Lin Dong tore open a spatial crack in the middle of the courtyard he lived in and stepped out from inside. There was no one in the courtyard. Everyone should not have returned yet. What made Lin Dong strange was that even Bailey Yanhong had disappeared. She should have also been unable to withstand the loneliness and had gone out for a break. As soon as Luo Hongyu opened her eyes, she saw an unfamiliar environment that should be an old courtyard. She then began to survey the new environment. Lin Dong. Where is this? Luo Hongyu asked curiously after sizing up the place for a moment. Where I live. Lin Dong replied. Still on Earth? Of course. This is Kyoto. Kyoto? Luo Hongyu's eyes shrunk. She had just felt that less than 10 seconds had passed. Just crossed thousands of kilometers from Magic City to Kyoto? What kind of means was this? Spatial shifting? Spatial transformation? Shift? Qiankuan Great Shift? Luo Hongyu looked at Lin Dong in front of her. This man in front of her was truly becoming more and more terrifying. This kind of means of crossing thousands of kilometers in a few seconds was truly unheard of. Do you and your girlfriend both live here? Where is she? She went back to her mother's home. She should just be back in the next 2 days. There are also more than just the two of us living here. There are other people as well. Other people? Who? You wouldn't recognize them even if I told you. It's better not to ask. Men and women? Well, there are both men and women. Lin Dong thought about it and replied. It was indeed both male and female. He himself was considered a man. Chen Jingzihan was also considered a man. Lin Dong. With your status, how could you possibly live with other people? Luo Hongyu asked suspiciously. What's wrong with that? We are all friends. Living together is also more lively. Otherwise, if you want to talk, you won't be able to find anyone. Lin Dong explained. Although Luo Hongyu was still puzzled in her heart, she did not continue to ask questions. Instead, she started to wander around the courtyard. Lin Dong, on the other hand, called Yin Shi and asked her to come back first and send Luo Hongyu away before saying anything. As for Lin Dong's request, Yin Shi naturally would not refuse and said that she would return immediately. Yin Shi's home was also in Kyoto, which was not too far from here, so Lin Dong did not go to pick it up. The main reason was that he did not know how to face Yin Shi's parents, Guan Meiling and Yun Zhanghai. Yin Shi had followed him for so many years and had not given him a name. At that time, he even said that he would get married after graduation as a result. It's been several years since they graduated now. Moreover, it was likely that they already knew about the existence of these people, Wang Fushiyu, which made it even more impossible for Lin Dong to go. Afterwards, the two of them, Lin Dong and Luo Hongyu, sat in the courtyard and chatted idly as they waited for Yin Shi to return. It did not take long. Lin Dong's mind moved. He directed his gaze towards the doorway of the room where Bailey Yanhong resided. Luo Hongyu noticed Lin Dong's strange appearance and naturally, she also followed Lin Dong's gaze over. There was nothing. Before Luo Hongyu could withdraw her gaze, only to see that the space in front of her where her gaze reached suddenly split open a crack. A beautiful woman walked out gracefully from within, carrying several large bags of things in her hands, which should be closed by sight. This was the same as the means that Lin Dong had used to bring her here and perform. Luo Hongyu's eyes stared straight at the beautiful woman. Who was this person? The age looked a little like 30 or 40, and a little like 40 or 50. Every move exuded an aura that belonged to a superb mature woman, very attractive. Men probably didn't have many who could stand up to it. Luo Hongyu thought that her conditions in all aspects, no matter the body and face, were very good. If there was anyone who could beat her, Luo Hongyu only recognized Morong Chinga. But now met this beautiful woman. Luo Hongyu herself felt somewhat ashamed of herself. This was definitely a woman who was even more powerful than Morong Chinga. Bailey Yanhong had just stepped out of the spatial passageway when she saw Lin Dong and a woman sitting in the courtyard, their gazes looking straight at her. It was probably because she felt that she was carrying 2 large bags of ordinary clothes, which detracted from the majesty of her cosmic enforcer, an eternal realm supreme level powerhouse. Therefore, Bailey Yanhong did not pay any attention to Lin Dong before she directly turned around and entered the room that belonged to her. Lin Dong was prepared to greet him, but he did not expect Bailey Yanhong to turn around and enter the room directly without the slightest stop. What is this? Who had offended her? At least the two of them were people who had the same dream, right? Not even a hello. Too impolite. Lin Dong shook his head. A woman's mind was indeed the hardest to guess. Temperamental, flipping their faces faster than turning over a book. Chapter 746, I'm going. Who is she? Only after Bailey Yanhong left did Luo Hongyu open her mouth to ask. A friend. Luo Hongyu glanced at Lin Dong. A friend? Bluffing ghosts. What kind of friend meets without even saying hello? It was still living together. Lin Dong. What is this tactic of yours that can cross thousands of kilometers in seconds? How come she knows it too? You are too weak now. When your strength reaches a certain level, you will naturally know it. You won't understand even if I tell you now. It involves knowledge of space. It's more complicated. Is that friend of yours just now very strong? How is it compared to you? Don't compare me to her. I wouldn't be able to walk in her hands for more than a single move before I would be slapped to death. Lin Dong shrugged his shoulders and said helplessly. What? Luo Hongyu was shocked in her heart. Lin Dong was the Earth Savior. The recognized #1 strongest person on Earth. He actually said that the woman who had just appeared could slap him to death? How was this possible? Aren't you? You the #1 strongest person on Earth? How could someone be more powerful than you? It's true that I'm Earth's #1 powerhouse. But she's not from Earth, so she's naturally more powerful than me. What's wrong with that? There are people outside of people, and there is a sky outside of the sky. This amount of strength of mine is still passable on Earth, or in the Milky Way galaxy, but elsewhere, it can only be considered average. Not an Earthling? Could it be an alien? That beautiful woman just now was an alien? How could Lin Dong live with an alien? Didn't those guys want to invade Earth? Luo Hongyu was just like the other Earthlings. After the 2 great catastrophes, she always felt that the aliens were all bad guys. She felt that her mind was a little turned around. While Luo Hongyu was in a daze, Bailey Yanhong came out of the room again. The large bag of clothes in her hand had already been put away. Lin Dong. You kid can do it. Did you find another lover? Are you going to let me take her away and join the seven-colored glazed sect? Bailey Yanhong teased as soon as she arrived. Lin Dong was about to open his mouth to explain. Unexpectedly, Luo Hongyu suddenly jumped ahead. Hello, sister. I am Lin Dong's friend, and I came here this time to learn from you, so please take care of me in the future, sister. Luo Hongyu was not a fool. This woman was spoken of so powerfully by Lin Dong. There was an opportunity to get close, so she naturally would not miss it. Since the other party had said that, it would be fine to follow the words. If she could learn from her, she might also have the chance to reach Lin Dong's level in the future. What is your name? Bailey Yanhong asked as she sized up Luo Hongyu. Sister. My name is Luo Hongyu. Luo Hongyu? Not bad, not bad. Although it's not as good as those two special physiques, it's a lot stronger than the others, so in the future, you'll follow sister me. Then I'll thank sister. No need to be polite. My name is Bailey Yanhong, you can call me Sister Hong from now on. Okay. Sister Hong. The two women talked happily with each other. Lin Dong watched in disbelief from the sidelines. What was this situation? The matter was settled in a few words. He, the rightful owner, hadn't even spoken yet. Wasn't Luo Hongyu here to see Yunxi? Now is she not going to leave? Ready to leave Earth with them? That. Sister Hong. Actually. Lin Dong wanted to explain a couple sentences. As a result, he was directly interrupted by Luo Hongyu. Lin Dong, don't say anything first, Sister Hong and I know each other at first sight, let us talk first. Right. We women chat, there is no room for you to speak. Bailey Yanhong followed suit. Lin Dong. The two women came together, there was no part for him to speak at all. Wasn't it said that 3 women are a show? How come 2 women are like this? Get over it. Unable to provoke, Lin Dong simply stopped talking. It did not take long. The small courtyard door was pushed open. Yunxi had returned. After receiving Lin Dong's call, she rushed back without stopping. Both in Kyoto, the distance was not far. Therefore, Yunxi came back quickly as well. Hello, Sister Hong. Yunxi greeted Bailey Yanhong politely as soon as she entered the small courtyard. Good day, Sister Yunxi. Bailey Yanhong also responded politely. Yunxi's talent amongst these people was not considered good, it could only be considered average. Originally, she was not qualified to enter the 7-colored glazed sect. However, who made her Lin Dong's official girlfriend? She wanted to gain Lin Dong's favor. To tie Lin Dong to the tree of the 7-colored glazed sect. One would have to allow Yunxi to enter the 7-colored lily sect and also raise to the eternal realm, even if one had to pile it up with heavenly treasures to do so. Hello, this sister. Then Yunxi greeted Luo Hongyu. Hello, Sister Yunxi. Luo Hongyu returned. Only at last did Yunxi look at Lin Dong and asked, Lin Dong. What's the matter with rushing me back? It's not much of a matter. Introducing a friend to you, this is my good friend Luo Hongyu. After Lin Dong introduced Luo Hongyu, he turned around to introduce Yunxi. Redfish. This is my girlfriend Yunxi. Hello, Sister Redfish. Hello, Sister Yunxi. Yunxi and Luo Hongyu shook hands when they finished. The next 3 women were together. There was even less for Lin Dong to do. Both Yunxi and Luo Hongyu wanted to curry favor with Bailey Yanhong, a super strong person, so that they could receive more help in the future. On the other hand, Bailey Yanhong was also trying to pull their ability to enter the 7-colored glazed sect, thus tying up Lin Dong, a fellow who had a high probability of surpassing the eternal realm in the future. Both sides had their own purposes. Naturally, they were talking very happily. Lin Dong was completely unable to interject from the sidelines. In the end, he could only return to his house to sleep in boredom. By the time Lin Dong was woken up by Yunxi, it was already dark. It was then that Lin Dong had the opportunity to talk to Luo Hongyu. Lin Dong had yet to speak. Luo Hongyu directly showed her cards. Lin Dong. I have already talked to Sister Hong. I am going to follow you guys and leave Earth to join the seven-colored glazed sect to try and break through the eternal realm and gain endless lifespan. Sure enough. Lin Dong laughed bitterly. He knew that it would end up like this. Have you thought about it? If we leave this time, perhaps we will not return until after a long, long time, and by that time, perhaps your parents will no longer be around. Do you part with your family and friends? Lin Dong was still making a final struggle. I've thought about it. I'm going. Luo Hongyu said seriously. No regrets? It will be too late in case you want to come back by then. The distance is too far and the road is dangerous. No regrets. I'm going. Luo Hongyu remained unmoved. Alright then. Since Sister Hong has agreed for you to go, there's nothing I can say. I just hope that you won't regret it. Thank you, Lin Dong. There's no need to thank me. Sister Hong also said that you have good talent. There is cultivation value. This has little to do with me. Lin Dong, then. Can I trouble you to send me back? Wait until it's time to pick me up? I need to go back to prepare and explain to my family. Luo Hongyu said with some embarrassment. What's the trouble? It won't take much time, so let's go now. Good. Lin Dong then tore open a spatial crack and led Luo Hongyu inside. After sending Luo Hongyu home, he directly turned back again. It was less than a minute before and after. Chapter 747 Advanced Civilization Star Void Realm. After Lin Dong returned, he naturally spent the night with Yun Shi. The two of them were comfortable on this side to the extent that Bailey Yanhong had already cursed Lin Dong once again over there. This little bastard. Would it kill you not to touch a woman? The desire that had been suppressed with great difficulty started to stir up again, causing Bailey Yanhong to have to use more energy to suppress it. She knew that these two were together, and it definitely wasn't good. No way. Tomorrow, she must find Lin Dong and have a good talk. Otherwise, if this continued, the desire in her body would most likely not last long enough to go back before it completely erupted. It would be really troublesome at that time. Yunshi. Did you tell Auntie Guan and Uncle Yun? Lin Dong stroked Yunshi's hair and asked softly. I told them everything. Yunshi replied in a small voice. Then what did they say? Agreed? They said that I've grown up and respect my decision, telling me to protect myself wherever I go. That's good. Lin Dong breathed a sigh of relief. But Lin Dong. Yunshi suddenly raised her head and looked at Lin Dong. Her eyes were cloudy and somewhat about to cry out. What's wrong? What's wrong? Lin Dong instantly tensed up. I can't let them go. But I want to be able to reach the eternal realm one day and always stay by your side all the time. Yunshi finished hugging Lin Dong tightly and buried her head in his chest as she continued with a choked voice, Lin Dong. I am so scared. Really so scared. I'm afraid that when I come back next time, Mom and Dad will already be gone. I'm an unfilial daughter who can't stay by their side to take care of them and let them take care of themselves. But I'm also afraid that I'll slowly grow old, I'll develop gray hair, my skin will develop wrinkles, and my teeth will fall out while you'll always be like this. I can't accept such a thing to happen. What should I do? What should I do? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. No matter what, I will always be by your side. Lin Dong patted Yunshi's back while comforting her. There was nothing he could do about this situation. Although he was strong. However, it was all obtained by relying on the system. It could not be transferred to someone other than himself either. Thank you, Lin Dong. Fool. The one who should say thank you is me. Yunshi, I promise you that this time when we go to the Star Void Realm, we will use 20 years as a time limit, and after 20 years, I will bring you back to Earth, and at that time, Auntie Guan and Uncle Yun will surely still be around, and we will accompany them through the rest of their days together. Really? Yunshi raised her head up and asked seriously. Really? It's definitely true. When have I ever lied to you? Yun. Before Lin Dong could finish his sentence, he was immediately sealed by Yunshi. Another room in the small courtyard. Bailey Yanhong was cursing Lin Dong in her heart. Bastard! 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 Isn't this torture? After a long time. Lin Dong was holding Yunshi, who had already fallen asleep, in his arms. He had been quite busy during this period of time, and since he took a look at the system in the first 2 days and realized that it was still in the process of being upgraded, Lin Dong had not paid much attention to the system. Several days had already passed again, and Lin Dong was ready to see how the upgrade was going. Opening the system panel, Lin Dong was delighted in his heart. The system was no longer a black screen. It seemed that the system upgrade had finally been completed. The first thing that caught his eyes was a sentence. The system has been upgraded and successfully accessed the advanced civilization Star Void Realm. The data has been completely refreshed and reorganized. Please use the system reasonably according to the rules. Host, Lin Dong. Balance 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 Star Yuan coins. Physique, first order of the Dominator level, 10 Divine Magnificence points can be raised by 1 order. Spirit, Realm Master level 10th order, 100 Divine Magnificence points can be upgraded. Battle Strength, Eternal Realm, Early Juggernaut grade. Combat Skills, Void God Fist, Perfect, Shattering Sky Palm, Perfect, Evil Breaking Sword Technique, Perfect. Skills, Ancient Chinese Medicine, Perfect. Divine Hero Points, 0. This system upgrade didn't seem to have changed very much, and it was quite a bit worse than the last upgrade. Firstly, it was the access to the advanced civilization Star Void Realm. Lin Dong guessed that the Star Void Realm should be the advanced civilization where Bailey Yanhong was located. Secondly, the system balance had been refreshed and reorganized again, still changing back to the original 100 million billion, and the unit had also changed from Galaxy coins to Star Dollar coins. Lastly, all of the original remaining Divine Magnificence points were cleared to 0. None of the other rules had changed. Spending 100 million Star Dollar coins would give you a Divine Magnificence point, which you could then use to enhance your physical and mental strength. The last time the system was upgraded and reorganized, it also rewarded at least 3 top-tier battle techniques. This time, on the other hand, there was nothing. However, Lin Dong still liked this kind of system. Just keep it simple and rough. Just consider how to spend the money. There weren't that many restrictions. The only thing that needed to be noted was that as the level of the civilization that he entered became higher and higher, and the strong people became stronger and stronger, he still had to be careful and never draw attention to himself. If a strong person of Bailey Yanhong's level found out that he had a system and wanted to take it for himself, Lin Dong would not have any resistance at all. Therefore, when he went to the Star Void Realm, if he wanted to protect himself, he would have to continue to spend money in a low profile to obtain Divine Magnificence points and enhance his strength. The Starry Void Realm was not the Milky Way galaxy. There must be a very large number of strong people. With Lin Dong's current strength, he was still far from being able to gain a foothold in the Star Void Realm. As for the Star Yuan coin, it should be the common currency of the Star Void Realm. It was just like how Earth used Huaxia coins and the Galaxy used Galaxy coins. If one doesn't go to the Star Void Realm, even if the system had linked up to the Star Void Realm's network, wanting to spend trillions of Star Yuan coins on the network would be simply impossible. Now the system had been refreshed and reorganized. If one wanted to spend Star Dollar coins to obtain Divine Magnificence points to raise their strength, one really had to go to the Star Void Realm in person. As the civilizations that he came into contact with became higher and higher, his strength became stronger and stronger. Lin Dong felt that he was also getting closer to the truth of the system. He was extremely curious. What kind of person could create something so perverse? And where was the limit of the system's enhancement? It couldn't possibly keep boosting without limit. This person who could create a system must be much stronger than the system's lifting limit to be reasonable. Regarding the Super Divine Hero system, Lin Dong had too many doubts and puzzles. But more than that, it was admiration. One really had to admire the powerful functions of the system. Every day, one only needed to think about how to spend money to become stronger. Where could one find such a good thing? If not for the fact that Lin Dong's childhood living environment had created a cautious character. By now, he might have long since surpassed the strength of the Eternal Realm. Of course, the greater likelihood was that he would be sliced and studied by someone stronger than him no matter what. Lin Dong was still very satisfied with his current state. He would rather spend more time and be more careful to eliminate even just a tiny bit of danger. Chapter 748, Please do me a favor. There were still 3 days to go before leaving Earth, leaving the Milky Way galaxy and heading to the advanced civilization Star Void Realm. With this departure, he would not be returning for a short period of time. Once Lin Dong left, there was no eternal realm powerhouse to sit in attendance. The safety of the Milky Way galaxy would not be guaranteed. Therefore, on the occasion of his departure, Lin Dong was prepared to make a trip to the Behemoth Galaxy to make an example of the surrounding powerhouses in one fell swoop. And the nine-headed Zhao clan was that chicken. These fellows had tried to captivate the humans of the Galaxy a few times, and their hearts were punishable. Over the past countless years, the Milky Way Galaxy did not know how many humans had been buried in the mouths of the nine-headed Zhao clan. Just the last time Lin Dong saw the scene, it was a purgatory. Right now, he did not have that strength, otherwise, Lin Dong might not be able to resist going over directly to exterminate the nine-headed Zhao clan and settle them once and for all in order to eliminate any future troubles. However, he was not afraid of not having the strength this time. Anyway, with Bailey Yanhong and Shen Jingzihan, the two cosmic enforcers, such a powerful backer, it would be foolish not to use it. With the identity of the two of them as universe enforcers, the nine-headed Zhao clan would definitely not dare to resist. However, if they wanted to completely eliminate the hidden dangers, it was estimated that they would have to wait until Lin Dong was strong. The cosmic enforcers also needed to act in accordance with the cosmic convention. Otherwise, it was likely that their status as a cosmic enforcer would be revoked the next day. Yun Shi went home early in the morning. She wanted to seize the time and go back to accompany her parents. Lin Dong thought about it, and in order to allow Yun Shi and the girls to spend a little more time with their family, he simply called them directly to inform them that they should stay at home for now and pick them up by themselves when the time came. It wouldn't take much time anyway. Otherwise, it was fine if they were close by like Yun Shi. If they were farther away, they would have to move a day or two in advance. It would only take a few dozen seconds for Lin Dong to go and pick it up, so why not? The group of women received a call from Lin Dong saying that he would come to pick them up, so naturally, they were all very happy and settled down to continue accompanying their families at home. After the call, Bailey Yanhong's voice suddenly rang outside the house. Lin Dong! You come out, I have something to say to you. Lin Dong got up. He happened to also need to discuss the matter of going to the Behemoth Galaxy with Bailey Yanhong. Opening the door to his room and stepping out of the room, Lin Dong saw Bailey Yanhong sitting in the small courtyard, but she did not look quite right. Her face was a little ugly, as if she was very angry. What's wrong with this? Wasn't it fine yesterday? The three women were chatting so happily, completely ignoring him. How did it become like this early this morning? Lin Dong was somewhat puzzled. He really could not guess the mind of this woman, Bailey Yanhong, too temperamental. It seemed like he had not offended the other party, right? Could it be because of Luo Honyu's matter? Then he could not be blamed even more. Because in the beginning there was no intention to take Luo Honyu away. It was Bailey Yanhong herself who said that she wanted Luo Honyu to hang out with her, so what's he got to do with it? When he encountered such an unreasonable woman, Lin Dong was also helpless. The key was that he could not afford to mess with her. This woman was too powerful. Shaking his head, Lin Dong stiffly walked over. What is Sister Hong looking for me for? Lin Dong asked as he sat across from Bailey Yanhong. Lin Dong. Can you kids stop at night? Bailey Yanhong looked at Lin Dong and said in a bad tone. Ha? Lin Dong opened his mouth in confusion. What did it mean to stop? What? Although I know that it is difficult for a young man like you to hold yourself and have a lot of energy, can you please consider the feelings of others? Sister Red. Red. What do you mean? Lin Dong was still somewhat unresponsive. Actually, what Bailey Yanhong had said was already very clear. He was naturally able to understand it. But Yunshi was his girlfriend. Wasn't it normal for the two to make out? This shouldn't have anything to do with her, right? What do you mean? I've made it so clear. Do you really not understand, or are you pretending not to understand? In the future, as long as I'm around, you're not allowed to do this kind of thing again, otherwise I'll just come up and knock on the door. This time Lin Dong was considered to have completely understood. It was really because of the matter between himself and Yun Shi. Even if Lin Dong's temper was good, he was still somewhat angered by Bailey Yanhong's words. This woman's control was really damn wide. Other people have to be in charge of the two couples making out. What's wrong with her brain? With such a strong strength, it was also known how she had cultivated up. Sister Hong. You're being too lenient. Yunshi is my girlfriend. What's wrong with the two of us making out? What's in the way of you? I don't care if you guys want to make out, but not here. Why? Lin Dong asked doubtfully. Seeing Lin Dong's appearance, Bailey Yanhong's heart was filled with anger. Why? You still have the nerve to ask why? I have come through these 1,000 years safely, and it is because of you that I have become like this? Now 90% of my strength is going to be used to suppress that power that's about to erupt in my body. If you don't stop, once I can't suppress it, everyone will be doomed. Lin Dong seemed to understand. Last time, because of the matter of the spiritual illusion, it had stimulated Bailey Yanhong's charming body, causing the desire in her hidden body to be activated, and she had to suppress it with her powerful strength. Now it seems to be sensing herself and Yunxi making out, causing the suppressed desire to be shaken again? Well, this did seem to be its own problem. But wouldn't Bailey Yanhong seal her spiritual power? Wouldn't that make it impossible to perceive anything? Where did Lin Dong know? Bailey Yanhong's spiritual power had only just been created not long ago. It was still very weak and could not be put away as freely as he could otherwise. Where would it be his turn to be bullied by him in the spiritual illusion realm without any resistance? Sister Hong, you can withdraw your spiritual power. That way, you won't be able to perceive things in the outside world and can rest well. Lin Dong blurted out. You. Bailey Yanhong was momentarily furious. She almost forgot that this little bastard was also a big pervert. Spiritual energy had long since been made to be able to be withdrawn and released at any time, whereas she was still unable to fully control it. Lin Dong, I don't care if you are enduring or holding back. Anyway, as long as I'm around, you won't be able to do this kind of thing again in the future, even when we're on the road again in a couple days, or else I'll just come up and knock on the door. Sister Hong. You're being a bit forceful. Lin Dong laughed bitterly. Forcing people to be difficult? If you continue like this, in case it leads to me really being unable to suppress it one day, you know the consequences. Gotta. For the sake of himself and everyone else's safety. Lin Dong ultimately chose to do what Bailey Yanhong said. This matter was still caused by him in the end. Alright. Don't worry, Sister Hong, I will pay attention in the future. Even if I want to make out, I will go outside and get a room. It won't be here. Lin Dong agreed. That's more or less the same. Alright, remember what you said, I'll leave first. Bailey Yanhong got up and prepared to leave after saying that. Sister Hong, wait. Lin Dong opened his mouth to stop. What else is there? Bailey Yanhong asked. I have something I want to discuss with you. I hope you can do me a favor. Oh? Need my help? Tell me. Bailey Yanhong sat down again. Chapter 749, Agreeing. Lin Dong told Bailey Yanhong about his desire to go to the Behemoth Galaxy and was prepared to ask her for a favor, borrowing her identity as a cosmic enforcer to deter the nine-headed Zhao clan. At the same time, it also made the powerhouses of the surrounding galaxies not dare to lay their hands on the Galaxy. This way, they could leave Earth and the Milky Way galaxy with peace of mind and go to the Star Void realm. If even their own homeland was not safe, they would not feel at ease even if they went there. Lin Dong did not want the galaxy to be in ruins by the time he returned the next time. Although this possibility was very, very low, it was not absent. What Lin Dong wanted was to eliminate it, not even the slightest possibility. Sister Hong. What do you think? Can this favor be done? Lin Dong asked. For this simple request from Lin Dong, Bailey Yanhong naturally would not refuse. Not only would she not refuse, she would also help Lin Dong get things done as much as possible. Bailey Yanhong had originally wanted to get on good terms with Lin Dong, this little pervert, so that when he was strong, he could in turn help himself and the seven-colored glazed sect. Now that Lin Dong had taken the initiative to seek help, Bailey Yanhong could not wait. However, helping out also had to be done in a proper manner. One could not just simply agree to it, the effect would be too poor. Thus, Bailey Yanhong said, according to reason, if the other party has not violated the Cosmic Convention, we Cosmic Enforcers cannot intervene. The nine-headed Zhao clan is most fond of eating humans, and has repeatedly infiltrated our Milky Way galaxy, wanting to captivate us humans as food for their long-term preying, which is already considered a violation of the Cosmic Convention, right? After all, they are an intermediate-level civilization while we are only a low-level civilization. The difference in strength between the two sides is too much. Then you'll have to produce evidence. Right now, your Milky Way galaxy is fine. People are on their own borders again. Asking me to go over and punish them as a cosmic enforcer is not in line with the rules. Bailey Yanhong was worried. In fact, a small 9-headed Jiaoclan could be destroyed with her hands if she wanted to. A tiny race in this kind of 5th-level civilization was no different from a mole cricket to Bailey Yanhong. As for not conforming to the rules, it was all said by her on purpose. The purpose was to make Lin Dong feel grateful. That way the effect achieved by helping would be good. What then? We will not be able to leave without making an example of the neighboring powerhouses. Lin Dong frowned. He did not expect things to be so troublesome. Did a bullish universe enforcer not even have this much power? Moreover, he did not ask Bailey Yanhong to directly exterminate the 9-headed Jiaoclan. It was just to punish and warn the other party, and in the process achieve the effect of deterring the surrounding area. When he returned again, it would be the day that the 9-headed Jiaoclan would be exterminated. Actually, it's not completely without a solution. As a universe enforcer, I can use my authority to punish the 9-headed Jiaoclan, it's just that it will be more troublesome, and I, for one, am most afraid of trouble. Bailey Yanhong said. Sister Hong may as well be straightforward with her requests. How meaningless to go around in such a roundabout way. As long as I, Lin Dong, can do it, without violating the principles, I will promise you. Lin Dong could also see that Bailey Yanhong was saying so much, just wanting to exchange conditions. Lin Dong, since you have said so, then I won't sell you short. You need to promise me a condition. As for what this condition is, I can't tell you right now. Wait until you break through the eternal realm and reach the next realm. Don't worry, you definitely won't be allowed to go against your principles. Good. I promise you. Lin Dong said after some thought. A promise is a promise. Then we will go to the Behemoth Galaxy and deal with the 9-headed Jiaoclan before making our way. Bailey Yanhong said happily. Getting a promise from someone who had a high possibility of breaking through to a powerhouse above the eternal realm in the future. How could she not be happy? Although Bailey Yanhong had relied on the advantage of her charming body, she was only over 1,700 years old and had already reached the Eternal Realm Supreme level, but she still had a long way to go if she wanted to break through the Eternal Realm and reach the next realm. It was even possible that she might be stuck at the Supreme level step forever. Row. Sister Hong. It's settled then. Lin Dong agreed. The reason why he agreed to Bailey Yanhong so readily. It could be more than just this one reason just now. In the future, Jinshi, Huangfu Xia, Zhao Shen, and all of these people would be entering the 7-colored glazed sect, and they would all need Bailey Yanhong's help and care as well. Lin Dong was destined to become entangled with this woman, Bailey Yanhong. If Bailey Yanhong could really bring all of Yunxi and the girls into the Eternal Realm. Not to mention one condition, even if it was 10 conditions, as long as it was within his power, Lin Dong would not hesitate to agree things were negotiated. The next step was to wait for the time to arrive so that he could travel to the Behemoth Galaxy. With the help of Bailey Yanhong's identity as a cosmic enforcer, he would collect some interest from the 9-headed Jiaoclan. As for the principal, one would have to wait until Lin Dong returned from the Star Void realm to recover all of it. Not long after, Lin Dong received a phone call that surprised him greatly. It was Suing Xue who called. She told Lin Dong that she had decided to follow him and leave Earth. This was something Lin Dong did not expect. He was a little confused as to how exactly Suing Xue had made this decision. He had to realize that they had not seen each other for several years. Lin Dong gave a good persuasion over the phone. In the end, he was unable to convince Suing Xue. He was not able to persuade Suing Xue. Another trouble has been caused, however, since it was something that was promised, Lin Dong could only admit it. Just go. After all, they were classmates. Closing the case could not be persuaded, Lin Dong asked Suing Xue to wait at home and go back to pick her up at that time. Suing Xue finally made such a decision, in fact, or her family gave advice. Who is Lin Dong? The savior of the earth, the first strong man. To be able to have the opportunity to follow him. That was what countless people dreamed of. Therefore, Suing Xue's family agreed for her to follow. Time quickly came to the last day. Lin Dong directly tore through space and first came to Yunxi's home to pick up Yunxi. Then he went to pick up a few other people. In less than 10 minutes. Yunxi, Huangfu Xia, Zhao Shen, Lu Xiaoxiao, Song Jia, Han Shiyun, Luo Hongyu, and Suing Xue all arrived. For the arrival of the two newcomers, Luo Hongyu and Suing Xue. Everyone was used to it and quickly mingled. Han Shiyun and Suing Xue were one of Jiangnan University's top 3 school beauties, and had known each other before in school. Being able to see her acquaintances here, Suing Shui's heart relaxed a little. Not long after Lin Dong received everyone in the courtyard, Chen Jing Zihan arrived with his 4 maids. As soon as he stepped out of the spatial rift, Chen Jing Zihan saw a whole bunch of beautiful women, all of which were also of the very best quality. "Brother Lin, you are very good, better than all me." Chen Jing Zihan gave a thumbs up towards Lin Dong. "Brother Chen. It's not what you think." Lin Dong laughed bitterly. I understand. Chen Jing Zihan said with a smile. "What the hell do you understand?" Lin Dong was speechless in his heart. Chapter 750, Newly Accepted Disciple. The personnel had all arrived and the matters at home had also been dealt with. Now, only Bailey Yan Hong, the rightful owner, was left to arrive. As soon as she arrived, it would be time to depart Lin Dong. "Where is Auntie Hong? Is she not here?" Chen Jing Zihan did not notice Bailey Yan Hong and then asked Lin Dong. He had also practically strolled around the earth these days. "Not quite sure, I did not see her early this morning." Lin Dong shook his head to indicate that he did not know either. Lin Dong and Chen Jing Zihan were in the middle of their conversation. The space in the small courtyard suddenly fluctuated. A crack appeared. Bailey Yan Hong walked out from the spatial crack with a woman. It was none other than Morong Chinga. After determining that what Bailey Yan Hong said was true, she did not hesitate to choose to go with Bailey Yan Hong. With such an opportunity, it would be foolish not to grasp it. The appearance of the two immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the small courtyard. Due to the fact that Bailey Yan Hong and Morong Chinga were both charming bodies, the two stood together with a very similar temperament and image to say that they were mother and daughter. Absolutely no one would doubt it. The moment Lin Dong saw Morong Chinga, his heart froze. How could it be her? Morong Chinga, this woman. Lin Dong still had a very deep impression. She was the one who triggered the 10-year contract between Zhuge Sandao and Zhao Shidao in the first place. It then evolved into an arena where the younger generation of Huaxia competed for supremacy, and he even represented Zhuge Sangdao's side in the battle. In the end, it seemed as if he himself had rejected Morong Chinga's division's request for a marriage. I thought that I would never cross paths with this magnificent woman again. I didn't expect to encounter it here. From the looks of it, Bailey Yan Hong was prepared to bring Morong Chinga along. Regarding Morong Chinga's arrival, Huangfu Shiyu was mentally prepared. It was because Morong Chinga had asked her about Bailey Yan Hong a few days ago. Auntie Hong. Who is this? Chen Jing Zihan asked out loud when he saw Bailey Yan Hong bringing a woman with her. Her name is Morong Chinga, from now on, she is my disciple. Bailey Yan Hong replied. Chen Jing Zihan was shocked in his heart. Auntie Hong had actually accepted a disciple? He hurriedly cast the heavenly star viewing technique and looked at Morong Chinga. Discovering that the aura emanating from this woman and Aunt Hong were surprisingly similar. Gosh! Could it be that this woman and Aunt Hong had the same physique? What kind of planet was this? First, there was Lin Dong, then Huangfu Shiyu, and now there was another Morong Chinga. These three were definitely at the demonic level in terms of that talent even in his hometown. A planet the size of a pellet. Surprisingly, 3 demons could appear at the same time. It was really too unbelievable. Aunt Red. Could it be that? She is. Just like you, Chen Jing Zihan asked with some disbelief. Not bad. Chinga is indeed in the same category as me. The universe is so big that it's a kind of fate for us master and disciple to meet. I'm just a half-finished product, and I hope to cultivate her into a finished product that surpasses me. These words came out. Everyone including Lin Dong was truly shocked. Together, they turned their gazes towards Morong Chinga. Who was Bailey Yan Hong? A cosmic enforcer. Even Lin Dong was not an opponent at all. It was actually said that Morong Chinga would be groomed to surpass her. This was a bit of an exaggeration. Yun Shi and the others cast envious glances. The few of them were able to join the 7-colored glazed sect because of Lin Dong and Huangfu Siye. Whether or not they would be able to step into the eternal realm in the future was questionable. However, after what Bailey Yan Hong had just said, Morong Chinga stepping into the eternal realm was almost a certainty. This was much more powerful than a few of them. The talent could be far too powerful. Congratulations to Aunt Red for receiving a beloved disciple. Together with Sister Shiyu, the seven-colored glazed sect will definitely rise to the next level in the future, so it seems like we've really come to the right place this time. Chen Jingzihan cupped his fists towards Bailey Yanhong and congratulated her. His mother was from the seven-colored glazed sect, and Bailey Yanhong was a good sister who grew up together. The seven-colored glazed sect and the Heavenly Star Mansion were also family friends. So he is also very happy now. This time really came to the right place. At first, Chen Jingzihan was still a bit unimpressed. Thinking that this kind of low-level civilization can appear what good seedling. As a result, I did not expect to be slapped in the face by reality. Not only did the seven-colored glazed sect harvest two special physique demons. The Celestial Star Mansion had also obtained Lin Dong, a person who could not even see through the Celestial Star viewing technique. It could be said that it was a double win. It was very favorable for both forces. Alright. Don't envy my seven-colored glazed sect. If the Heavenly Star Mansion could get Lin Dong to join in, it would not be smaller than my seven-colored glazed sect's gains. Bailey Yanhong said. It seemed that Aunt Hong had also discovered Lin Dong's unusualness. Chen Jingzihan thought in his heart. He then turned his head towards Lin Dong and said, Brother Lin. I wonder how well you have considered joining my Heavenly Star Mansion. I am sincerely inviting you. Let's wait until we get to the place and settle them down. Brother Chen, rest assured, if I want to join a certain power, I will definitely prefer the Heavenly Star Mansion. Lin Dong replied. He did not immediately agree. Nor did he say the words to death. Nothing was known about the situation right now. It was still a little too hasty to take the risk of joining the Heavenly Star Mansion. Lin Dong did not actually want to join any forces. This was because he was different from the others. Yun Shi and the others joined the seven-colored glazed sect to go in to learn and receive teachings. He, on the other hand, did not need these. As long as there was a place where he could spend a lot of money, it would be fine. Joining a certain power would instead limit his development. After all, one's secrets couldn't be known by anyone. Brother Lin. Then let's make a deal. If you want to find a force to join, it's not my Heavenly Star Mansion. It would be a bit unorthodox for you to find another. After all, we're only the first to know each other. It's fate. Chen Jingzihan did not force Lin Dong either. This kind of thing needed to be voluntary. If Lin Dong was indeed unwilling, even if he was forced to join the Heavenly Star Mansion, it might not be a good thing. Those who were immune to the Heavenly Star viewing technique, even if they could not be drawn in, they should have a good relationship and not be enemies. This was an ancient rumor that had been passed down from generation to generation in the Heavenly Star Mansion. All the people of the Heavenly Star Mansion must not violate it. Of course, what this referred to was a situation where there was not much difference in strength. If a cosmic realm were to cast the Heavenly Star viewing technique and look at an eternal realm powerhouse, it would obviously not hold true. This was because it was simply impossible to see through. The difference in strength was too great. Don't worry, Brother Chen. I, Lin Dong, will never go back on my word. That's good. Brother Lin, there is one more thing I have to tell you. My Heavenly Star Mansion and the seven-colored glazed sector worldly friends, if you join the Heavenly Star Mansion, you can visit these young lovers of yours anytime you want, but if you join other forces, it's not necessarily the case. The seven-colored glazed sect only accepts female disciples, and ordinary men are not allowed to enter. Chapter 751 Morong Chinga's Hatred. Chen Jingzihan's words made Huangfu Shiyu and the others feel a little embarrassed. However, none of them retorted, and it was clear that in their hearts, they recognized the title of Lin Dong's young lover. Lin Dong, on the other hand, directly chose to ignore it. This kind of thing, the more one explained it, the more confusing it would become, so he simply ignored it directly. However, there was one person on the scene who had a different idea. That was Morong Chinga. At first, Lin Dong had become the recognized number one of the younger generation in Huaxia and had achieved the final victory in the 10-year contract. As a result, he had refused to marry her. This had already made Morong Chinga somewhat dissatisfied. Now that she saw that Lin Dong had actually found so many women but did not want her, her heart became even more furious. It was not that Morong Chinga liked Lin Dong so much. Rather, it was that Lin Dong's approach had caused her to lose face and disgraced Kunlun. Morong Chinga had always been the woman in the limelight wherever she went since she was young. Such an environment had also created her character that viewed herself highly. To be able to cause the competition between the first heirs of the two top families of China, the Zhao family and the Zhuge family, and to make the two major disciples of Kunlun enamored, Morongchinga naturally had her unique characteristics. And Lin Dong was the first man to reject her, still in front of all the forces in Huaxia. Morongchinga also had so much hatred in her heart towards Lin Dong. It was just that later on, as Lin Dong's strength became stronger and more outrageous, in turn becoming an existence that both she and her division needed to look up to. She then silently hid this trace of hatred in the deepest recesses of her heart, deciding not to show it again in this life. She did not expect that she would cross paths with Lin Dong again today. She also saw so many women around Lin Dong. Morongchinga turned her gaze towards the group of women beside Lin Dong. Although these women were not bad in all aspects and were definitely considered first-class beauties on earth, there was still a certain gap when compared to her. Among them, only Huangfu Xia could compare with her, and the two of them could be considered evenly matched. As for the other few, they were somewhat inadequate. It wasn't that Morongchinga was proud, rather, she had the confidence and strength. Morongchinga could not figure it out. Why did Lin Dong prefer to choose these women instead of joining forces with her? What exactly was the problem? Was it that she was no match for them? Or was she really too bad? She could not help but have this self-denying thought in her mind. No way. There must be a chance to ask Lin Dong. Why did he reject Master's offer of a marriage in the first place, causing himself to lose face in front of so many powers in Huaxia? Since it was all unwilling. And why bother going to the 10 years promise? Morongchinga, as the initiator of the 10 years promise, had ultimately aimed to find the number one person in the younger generation of Huaxia and then marry him to help the Master's sect survive the great calamity. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be a dowry for someone else. This caused Morongchinga to have a lot of pent-up emotions in her heart. It caused the trace of hatred in her heart to well up when she looked at Lin Dong. How powerful was Lin Dong's spiritual power nowadays? If it was merely compared to spiritual power, Bailey Yanhong, an Eternal Realm supreme-level powerhouse, was not even worthy of lifting his shoes. Even though Morongchinga's trace of hatred was only a flash, it was still sensed by Lin Dong. He turned his gaze towards Morongchinga with some doubts in his heart. There was something wrong with this woman's gaze just now. It seemed to be hostile? Why would Morongchinga show hostility towards herself? It didn't seem like one was in a hostile relationship with her. So far, the two hadn't even said 10 words. Moreover, Morongchinga came from the hidden sect Kunlun. The relationship between Huaxia and Kunlun was still very good. When resources were initially allocated, Lin Dong even took special care of Kunlun. It was unlikely that the two were in a hostile relationship even if they were not friends. However, it was impossible for his spiritual perception to be fake. Lin Dong was puzzled. He could not figure out what had gone wrong in the middle that caused Morongchinga to become hostile towards him. Could it be that hatred was born out of love? Impossible. The two had only met a few times and said less than 10 words, and this was love? One's attraction to women was already strong to this extent? Even a woman as magnificent as Morongchinga was overwhelmed by her own charms and deeply infatuated with herself? Because he couldn't get himself, he developed hatred? Lin Dong thought incomparably stinky in his heart. It had to be said that as the system continued to develop and his strength continued to become stronger, Lin Dong began to become more and more narcissistic. Just by virtue of Morongchinga accidentally revealing a hint of hostility, he was able to associate it with so much. However, Lin Dong ignored the other party. Instead, he turned to Chen Jingzihan and said, "Brother Chen, do you mean that by joining your heavenly star mansion, you will be able to freely enter and exit the 7-colored glazed sect?" Not really. The 7-colored glazed sect is all women after all. Even if our heavenly star mansion and the 7-colored glazed sect are worldly friends, it's still not possible to freely enter and exit, but as long as you have my heavenly star mansion's heavenly star order, it's still possible to enter and exit frequently. Chen Jingzihan replied. Is there any difference between free access and frequent access? Lin Dong asked doubtfully. He felt that the two situations should be similar. Of course there is. Free entry and exit that is not restricted by the 7-colored glazed sect, whereas frequent entry and exit still requires certain restrictions. What restrictions? It's better to wait for the specifics later. It's still too early to tell you now. Anyway, you just need to know that my heavenly star mansion has the closest relationship with the 7-colored glazed sect. Only by joining us will you be able to see your own mistress often, otherwise it's very difficult for any other forces to enter the 7-colored glazed sect. Sister Hong. Is that so? Lin Dong turned his gaze towards Bailey Yanhong. It is indeed like this. You can only maintain a close relationship with my seven-colored glazed sect by joining the Heavenly Star Mansion and can enter the seven-colored glazed sect from time to time, as well as marrying a female disciple of the seven-colored glazed sect as your wife. Bailey Yanhong nodded and replied. The seven-colored glazed sect and the Heavenly Star Mansion were indeed family friends, and the time could be traced back to 10,000 years ago. The two forces had basically had marriages for generations. The relationship in this generation had even reached its peak nowadays. It could be said that the relationship between the two forces was at its closest. This was because the main palace wife of the current master of the Heavenly Star Mansion, that is, Chen Jing Zihan's mother, had once been a Heavenly Pride disciple of the seven-colored glazed sect. And Bailey Yanhong and the other party were still good sisters who had gone through life and death trials together. That was why Bailey Yanhong had brought Chen Jing Zihan out with her. After all, Chen Jing Zihan was also considered her nephew. Otherwise, she would not have this free time. Lin Dong, this little pervert, was a man and could not be pulled into the seven-colored glazed sect, so it would be better to let him join the Heavenly Star Mansion. It was also considered sending a supreme demon for her good sister. If the Heavenly Star Mansion could rise to the next level, Bailey Yanhong would also be happy for her good sister. And it wasn't as if she had no benefits at all. Brother Chen, I understand, so let's talk about it when we arrive. Since the seven-colored glazed sect only accepts women and I can't get in, then I will definitely give priority to your Heavenly Star Mansion. It can be. I'm sure Brother Lin will make the most correct choice, and my Heavenly Star Mansion will also give you the optimal treatment. Chen Jing Zihan said confidently. He believed that Lin Dong would definitely choose the Heavenly Star Mansion when he arrived at his hometown and understood the true situation. It was not that the Heavenly Star Mansion was the most powerful force. Rather, with the close relationship between the Heavenly Star Mansion and the seven-colored glazed sect, the best choice for Lin Dong was the Heavenly Star Mansion. Chapter 752 Eavesdropping. After the two ended their conversation, Bailey Yanhong then opened her mouth and said, "Since everyone has arrived, I think the matters at home have been taken care of, so let's prepare to depart now. Sister Hong, please also make a trip to the Imperial Star in the center of the galaxy first. I don't know how long it will take me to come back after leaving the galaxy this time. I still have a few things that I need to account for. After all, I am the lord of this galaxy." Good. Then let's go to the Emperor's Star first. Regarding these small requests from Lin Dong, Bailey Yanhong naturally would not refuse. After saying this, she threw a small turtle in her hand towards the sky. After the little turtle reached the sky, it quickly grew in size and instantly became the size of a sea island, covering the sky and blocking out the sunlight. "Let's go," Bailey Yanhong said as she swept a glance at the crowd. Then she flew up. Chen Jing Zihan also followed Bailey Yanhong up with her four maids Lin Dong, Yun Shi, and these people had all seen this large turtle before, so they were not surprised and followed up. Only Morong Qingge and Luo Hongyu as well as Suing Xue had not seen this kind of means before and were shocked. But after just a moment, they came back to their senses and hurriedly followed. The crowd arrived at the back of the turtle, and what caught their eyes was a luxurious palace. Entering the palace. There are many rooms here, everyone can just stay by themselves, there are not that many rules, but you can only move around in here, don't ever leave this house, otherwise none of you people can survive except Lin Dong. Bailey Yanhong left after saying these words. As she was leaving, she glanced at Lin Dong. A warning look appeared in her eyes. It was clearly intended to tell Lin Dong, "You brat, don't mess with me here, or else my old lady will directly throw you down." Lin Dong naturally understood the meaning in Bailey Yanhong's eyes and could only awkwardly turn his head to look elsewhere after Bailey Yanhong left. Chen Jing Zihan was also ready to leave. "Brother Lin. Then I'll go rest first as well. Be my guest, Brother Chen." The palace was luxurious and large. It was completely wrong to house these 10 or so people. Everyone looked for an empty room to stay in individually. After Lin Dong and the others entered the luxurious palace, the big turtle then directly tore through space and drilled in, heading towards the direction of the Emperor's Star. The speed of this big turtle was even faster than Lin Dong walking through the spatial rift. After all, it was the tool that Bailey Yanhong, the cosmic enforcer, had specialized in rushing. It traveled through the universe all year round. Speed was naturally of the utmost importance. Lin Dong also found a room to rest in. It did not take long. Bailey Yanhong's voice rang in his ears. "Lin Dong, the Emperor's Star has arrived, so if there is anything you need to deal with yourself as soon as possible. We won't go out lest we cause chaos and be mobbed like monsters. If such a large turtle appeared in the sky above the Emperor Star, it would definitely cause countless people to be shocked. Lin Dong quickly stood up. Arriving at the Emperor Star so quickly? It was much faster than the time it took him to rush back. What kind of breed was this large turtle? Not only could it freely change in size, even its speed was so terrifyingly fast. In the future, if he had the opportunity, he would like to catch one to walk on his behalf as well. What a time saver. Lin Dong walked out of the palace alone, passed through a layer of light curtains, arrived on the back of the big turtle, and casually tore a crack and walked out. The layer of light curtain he had just passed through was the boundary protecting the palace. This was a dangerous spatial rift. Aside from the Eternal Realm, only half-step Eternal Realms could survive here for a short period of time. As for everyone else, once they lost their protection, their bodies would instantly disintegrate because they couldn't withstand the pressure. Even the peak of the Cosmic Realm Lord level would not be an exception. This was why when entering the palace, Bailey Yanhong had warned everyone not to go out of the palace and could only move within it. Lin Dong tore open a passageway and stepped out. Sure enough, he was already in the sky above the Emperor Star. He was a little curious, how did that big turtle find this place so accurately? It was really a good thing. In the future, he must catch one to catch the road. Lin Dong took a step and his body had already appeared above the Emperor Star. Emperor Star, Emperor Palace. Great Emperor Xia Yunchuan's residence. At this moment, Xia Yunchuan and Xia Juyu's uncle and nephew were playing chess. The two were killing each other on the chessboard. Yunchuan, this time when you saw Lin Dong break through the Eternal Realm and perform the Eternal Golden Body Phantasm, have you been inspired a bit? Xia Jiuyue asked in a loud voice after he had landed his pieces. Ninth uncle, what about you? Xia Yunchuan did not answer directly, but asked a rhetorical question. I'm already old, and to be honest, I don't aspire to this, so I don't really feel anything. If my Xia family wants to continue controlling the Milky Way galaxy, there has to be an Eternal Realm before I can do it. You have the best chance. This task can only fall on your head. How easy it is to talk about. Ninth uncle, why don't you like to cultivate? In fact, with your talent, you may not be worse than me. If you had been more serious in the beginning, and didn't go into researching pills and such, maybe you would have stepped into the Eternal Realm long ago now, and my pressure wouldn't be as great as it is now. Everyone has their own path to walk. What's the point of saying this? The most important thing now is to preserve the position of the Empire. Although Lin Dong said that he left everything within the galaxy to be handled by you, the Donglai Chamber of Commerce that he left behind will gradually become a force that the Empire can't control. After all, he's the galaxy's lord. I know. With Lin Dong, the Galactic Lord, as its backing, the Eastlight Chamber of Commerce's speed of development is truly terrifying, and countless forces are flocking to it, all hoping to get a little bit involved with the Eastlight Chamber of Commerce. Xia Yunchuan said helplessly. That is why you must now break through to the Eternal Realm as soon as possible. Because Lin Dong has become the Lord of the Milky Way, the prestige that my Xia family has accumulated over countless years in the Milky Way galaxy is on the verge of being slowly replaced by him, and it won't be long before it is all gone. But ninth uncle, wanting to break through the Eternal Realm is really too hard and too difficult, although I have that glimmer of inspiration, but it's so cloudy that I always feel like I can't get a grip on it, and if I want a breakthrough, I guess it will still take some time. Xia Yunchuan shook his head. It's good to have inspiration. I'm afraid that you're just like me, you can't feel anything, then our Xia family will be finished. Xia Jiuyue finally revealed a hint of a smile. Uncle 9. Little 19 has been moping and teetering for some time recently. Presumably he also knows the gap between himself and Lin Dong. What do you think should be done about this? Xia Yunchuan asked. Let nature take its course. We can't intervene in this matter. If little 19 is able to be with Lin Dong, then naturally everyone will be happy. If not, that can't be helped. After all, Lin Dong's identity is completely different now. Xia Jiuyue sighed. I also understand. But hearing Muddy Yen talk about little 19's situation every day, I don't feel good in my heart either. I blame it only on the fact that I, as a father, wasn't able to reach the Eternal Realm one step ahead of Lin Dong, or else I would have directly tied him up to be the Emperor's son-in-law for little 19-inch. The conversation between uncle and nephew considered themselves to be very private. After all, this was the Imperial Palace. They were also two half-step Eternal Realm existences. But unbeknownst to them, what they said had been heard word for word by Lin Dong. Chapter 753, I Promise. Lin Dong was somewhat speechless in his heart when he first heard the conversation between Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue. He truly did not have any interest in competing with the Xia family for the control of the galaxy. It was just that he also knew that the Xia family was, after all, the royal family of the galaxy and had controlled the galaxy for many years. Suddenly popping out a person whose strength was above the Xia family, they would naturally have other thoughts. Lin Dong's eternal realm strength was always like a thorn in the Xia family's heart. Therefore, the Xia family needed someone to come forward and break through the eternal realm to at least be able to fight against Lin Dong in order for them to let go of their hearts. There was nothing that Lin Dong could do about this situation. No matter what he said, the Xia family would not fully believe him. However, if the Xia family knew that he was about to leave the galaxy, they should be slightly more at ease. After listening to the conversation between the two, Lin Dong did not immediately show up. If he appeared now, it would only make the scene more awkward. Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue would probably be scared enough. After all, discussing an eternal realm behind their backs was a below-the-line offense. Lin Dong quietly left, preparing to come back later. Imperial Star, Imperial Palace. 19th Princess Xia Mu's residence. Inside the pink room, there was a variety of colorful and fragrant food being set up, which could whet one's appetite at a glance. However, no one moved. Two women were sitting by the window. A young one looking out the window was none other than Xia Mu. The other was Imperial Empress Lu Mutian, who looked at Xia Mu with heartache. Mu, you should eat something. If you continue like this, your body won't be able to take it. Lu Mianyan looked at Xia Mu, who was lost in thought, and advised with heartache. Only when one reaches the eternal realm, where the body can constantly produce life force, can one keep living without relying on food. Otherwise, even a half-step eternal realm like Xia Yunchuan would need to take in energy from food. After a long period of not eating to replenish energy, the body's functions would slowly decline and even eventually lead to death. Only this was a very slow process. An ordinary person could only live for 10 days and half a month at most without eating. As the realm got higher and stronger, this time could be greatly delayed. Mother! I'm not hungry. You tell them to withdraw. Xia Mu calmly replied. No way. You must eat something today. Ever since Lin Dong stepped into the eternal realm and left as the Lord of the Galaxy, you have practically not touched a drop of water during this period of time. If you continue like this, your body will soon collapse. From now on, if you don't eat, then Mother Empress will stay with you. The worst thing is that both of us, my mother and I, will die together. Lu Mian put on a look like, if you don't eat, I won't eat either. Only then did Xia Mu turn her head to look at Lu Mian. She saw the heartache in her mother's eyes, but she was really not in the mood to eat right now. After Lin Dong stepped into the eternal realm and became the Lord of the Milky Way, no matter his strength, identity, or status, he had long been above the Xia family. Xia Mu did not want this to happen. Because in that case, the gap between her and Lin Dong would become further and further apart. Mother Empress, I really do not have an appetite. Xia Mu shook her head and said. Mumu, what is wrong with you? Lin Dong just left to do some errands. It's not like he said he won't come back. If you don't eat now, before he comes back, your body will have already collapsed. Mother. In fact, I know that I have always just been in unrequited love. Although Lin Dong saved me in the beginning, he only treated me as a friend. I originally thought that with my identity as the 19th princess of the Galaxy Empire, I could make Lin Dong slowly change his mind. But now that Lin Dong has already stepped into the eternal realm and has become the Lord of the Galaxy, he is more powerful than both Father Emperor and Ninth Grandfather. I don't know what I should do. Xia Mu said in a low mood. Mumu, you must not have such thoughts. You have to be more confident. You are one of the 4 great fairies of the Milky Way Galaxy, the 19th princess of the Galaxy Empire. No matter what aspect, you are the top of the Milky Way Galaxy. Lin Dong just hasn't been in contact with you for a long time. As long as the time is long, slowly and surely, he will like you. Is that so? Xia Mu slightly raised his interest. Of course it is. And the more outstanding Lin Dong is now, isn't it proof that your vision is better? Who doesn't want their man to be the one in the limelight? Back then, your father was like this, that's why he attracted me. Your gaze is much higher than mother's me. You should be touched with joy that Lin Dong is so outstanding now. Seeing that Xia Mu had come to be interested, Lu Mian immediately added. Xia Mu's situation during this period of time was really worrying. He did not think about tea or food, was depressed and had no interest in anything. No matter who it was, he could not be persuaded. Mother. Actually, I don't want Lin Dong to become so outstanding. I want him to be a bit more ordinary so that I can have a better chance. I like him not because of any good vision, being able to anticipate his achievements today, even if he becomes an invalid now. I still like him and will not give up on him. Lu Mianyan looked at Xiaomu helplessly. Alas! This girl was now too deeply poisoned to be pulled out. The point was that with Lin Dong's current strength and status, who could sway his thoughts? Who would dare to oppose what he said? Let alone one's own husband. Even if one gathered all the power of the Xia family, it was impossible to be his opponent. If Lin Dong really did not like Mumu, this matter would have already entered a dead end with no solution. Alas! Mumu, no matter what you think, you should eat something. I'm sure Lin Dong doesn't want to see you like this either. If he finds out when he comes back, he will definitely be unhappy. You should take care of your health, wait for Lin Dong to come back and then work hard to pursue your own happiness. Mother Empress believes that. My Mumu won't be any worse than any other person. I know, Mother Empress. Thank you. You go out first. I want to be quiet for a while. Don't worry, I'll eat later. Xiaomu said. No way. I'll eat with you. Lu Mian refused. Mother. Just let me be quiet for a while. Okay? Xiaomu begged. Lu Mianyan just wanted to refuse, but when she saw Xiaomu's pleading eyes, she sighed in her heart and could only say, alas. That's fine. Mother will go out first, you must eat some later. I know, Mother. Xiaomu replied. Lu Mianyan could only stand up and slowly leave Xiaomu's room. After she left, Xiaomu didn't go to eat, but continued to look out the window out of concentration. Muttering under her breath, she said, Lin Dong, where are you now? When will you come back? Or are you never coming back? Do you know that there is someone here who has been missing you so much that he cannot eat or sleep? I know you only think of me as a friend, but what can I do? As soon as I close my eyes, all I can think about is you. You're the first man I've ever liked in my life, and you'll be the last, I promise. Chapter 754, I'll set the rules. At this time in Xiaomu's room a voice suddenly rang out. Alas! Your Highness, why are you doing this? Lin Dong said helplessly. He had originally gone directly to find Xia Yunchuan to explain that he was leaving the Milky Way galaxy. As a result, he did not expect to happen to hear Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue discussing themselves. In order to avoid embarrassment, Lin Dong then had no choice but to retreat first and wait until some time later. Then he came to Xiaomu's place. As a result, he heard this conversation between the mother and daughter again. Lin Dong actually wanted to leave first and go find Yi Qingdao. But after hearing Xiaomu's last words to herself, his heart softened. This was his character flaw. It was also because of this flaw that there were so many women surrounding him. Lin Dong had thought about changing it. It was just that, as the saying goes, rivers and mountains are easy to change, but one's nature cannot be changed. How could a person's character be changed so easily? Moreover, he did not feel that there was anything wrong with this character of his. People always have to bring some feelings. If one were to be cold-blooded and heartless, then what was the difference between him and an animal? Xiaomu did not react when he first heard Lin Dong's voice. It was only after about 2 to 3 seconds that she suddenly turned around and saw Lin Dong standing behind her. Mr. Lin. You're back. Xiaomu said in surprise. Just arrived at the Imperial Star. Lin Dong replied with a smile as well. Thank you for coming to see me just after you came back. The current Xiaomu was simply a different person from just now. Lin Dong did not know how to reply. If he had not heard what Xiaomu had just said, he would still be able to treat Xiaomu normally. But since he had heard it, he did not know how to deal with it now. Your Highness the Princess. Actually, I came here this time to bid you farewell. In the end, Lin Dong still said it was already an unchangeable fact that he was leaving the galaxy. Xiaomu would know sooner or later anyway. It was better to just say it now. The smile on Xiaomu's face immediately stiffened when he heard Lin Dong's words. Saying goodbye to me? Where is Mr. Lin going? After Xiaomu calmed down, his voice trembled a little as he asked. I will leave the Milky Way galaxy. Going to a very far place. I don't know when I'll be back. What about Sister Dance? Will she go with you? Xiaomu asked a question that he really wanted to know. Lin Dong also did not expect Xiaomu to ask this. With regards to Yi Qingdao, Lin Dong intended to seek her own opinion. If Yi Qingdao chose to follow along, Lin Dong would not refuse. Anyway, he had already troubled Sister Hong, so it would be fine for her to accept one more into the seven-colored glazed sect. If Yi Qingdao did not want to go and wanted to stay behind to accompany her family, Lin Dong naturally begged for it and would just leave the Donglai Chamber of Commerce to her light dance's words. I will seek her opinion, Lin Dong said frankly. Xiaomu heard Lin Dong say this. The aggression in her heart immediately surged out and she could not stop her tears from flowing downwards. Lin Dong would seek Yi Qingdao's opinion, which meant that he would let Yi Qingdao make her own choice. And what about her? Lin Dong had instead come to bid her farewell. That is to say, he did not give her a chance to choose at all. It was not difficult to see. Lin Dong actually did not take himself seriously at all from the beginning to the end, and could only be considered a general friend. No matter how hard she tried, she could not get close to Lin Dong. How could Xiaomu feel good in her heart? There was nothing left for her to say. Lin Dong's approach had proved everything. Xiaomu just looked at Lin Dong with tears in her eyes, biting her lips and not speaking. She was vividly like a little daughter-in-law who had been abandoned by a scummy man. Lin Dong also realized at this time that what he said seemed to be a bit not so good. Since Yi Qingdao was given the opportunity to choose, then Xiaomu should also be treated equally. Treating her so differently was definitely hurtful. Immediately afterward, Lin Dong thought of the words that Xiaomu had just muttered to himself. Alas! What virtue and ability did he have? To actually let so many outstanding women get attached to him, not thinking about tea or food. It seems that one should indeed change the name of one's system. Don't call it the super divine hero system. Simply call it the super flirting system. Your Highness, I am going to a higher level civilization this time and will bring some friends with me, where the chances of breaking through the eternal realm and obtaining an endless lifespan are greater. So if you give up your parents and relatives and are willing to follow along, I can bring you along. Lin Dong broke the silence and said. Really? The joy in Xiaomu's eyes flickered. Really? But this time, when we leave, it might take a long time before we can come back. Good. Then I'll discuss it with father and mother. Xiaomu did not make an immediate decision. Although she was eager to immediately agree to Lin Dong and was willing to follow him. However, it was still necessary for her father and mother to agree. After all, she was not alone. Her parents had injected too much of their heart and soul into her. She could not be so selfish. It just so happens that I'm looking for your father, let's go together. Ah. After Xiaomu replied, she wanted to stand up, but since she hadn't eaten anything during this period of time, it caused her body to be very weak. With a stumble, he almost fell. Fortunately, Lin Dong was quick on his feet and held her up. It is better to eat something first. Your body is very weak. Then don't go. Accompany me, okay? Good. Lin Dong helped Xiaomu walk to the table and sit down. A large table of colorful and flavorful food with superb nutritional value was about to get cold. With Lin Dong beside her, Xiaomu's appetite was wide open as she elegantly ate all kinds of food. Mr. Lin, you eat some too. Lin Dong had already reached the eternal realm and he would not feel hungry whether he ate or not. However, after eating for so many years, it was somewhat difficult to quit for a while, so he started sweeping across the table. His movements were then much rougher than Xiaomu's. This was a habit he had developed since childhood. Xiaomu's mood brightened as he watched Lin Dong wolf down his food. He also followed suit and began to gulp down his food. A table full of food was thus swept clean by the two. The two had just finished eating. Empress Lu Mian appeared in the room, staring daggers at the table in a mess. She had come to see if Xiaomu had eaten anything and ended up seeing this scene. Lin Dong had actually discovered Lu Mian a long time ago. However, he did not care. It was fine to come, it wasn't like he was unseen. He was going to find them himself later anyway. Lord Lin. Lin has come. Lu Mianyan almost shouted Lin Dong directly. Suddenly reacting, times were different now. Now Lin Dong was the Lord of the Milky Way, the first eternal realm powerhouse in the galaxy. An existence that even his husband, Great Emperor Xia Yunchuan, had to look up to. There is no need to be polite, Aunt Lu. You might as well just call me Lin Dong. Xiaomu and I are friends, so it would be uncomfortable for you to address me like that instead. Mother! Xiaomu shouted with a red face. Lord Lin! Muddy Yen wouldn't dare. You are now the Lord of the Milky Way, you can't break the rules. Lu Mayan said in a respectful tone. Since I'm the Lord of the Milky Way, then the rules should be set by me. Chapter 755 I don't have time. In the Imperial Palace. Great Emperor Xia Yunchuan's residence. What? You said that you are leaving the Milky Way galaxy? Xia Yunchuan looked at Lin Dong and asked in surprise. Next to him, Xia Zhougui and Lu Mayan were also filled with surprise. It was important to realize that Lin Dong was now the Lord of the Milky Way and had already stood at the top of the Milky Way. In the Milky Way galaxy, he belonged to the existence of the Lord of the Milky Way galaxy, and no one dared to oppose him. At such a time, Lin Dong suddenly said that he wanted to leave? What kind of operation is this? Several people from Xia Yunchuan were somewhat unable to understand. Yes. Uncle Xia. Lin Dong replied. Where are you going to go when you are leaving the Milky Way galaxy? An advanced civilization. What's the point of going to an advanced civilization? Isn't it good to stay here and be the Earth Emperor? Once you leave the Milky Way galaxy and go to a high-level civilization, your strength of the Eternal Realm is not quite enough. Xia Yunchuan said. In fact, deep in his heart, he also wished for Lin Dong to leave. As long as Lin Dong left, the galaxy would still be the Xia family's world. However, if Lin Dong really left, he would face another problem. That was the threat from other galaxies. Especially the nine-headed Zhao clan of the Behemoth Galaxy. This race treated humans as food and could be said to be the natural enemy of humans. Coupled with the fact that Lin Dong had offended the other party again by breaking through the Eternal Realm this time once Lin Dong, an Eternal Realm with a strong deterrent power, left, the nine-headed Zhao clan would most likely attack again. At that time, what place would his Xia family take? What would the Milky Way galaxy take to resist? The most perfect idea in Xia Yunchuan's mind was for Lin Dong to help him break through the Eternal Realm before leaving. Uncle Xia, I will bring some of my friends over this time. Staying in the galaxy, it will be difficult for them to make a breakthrough, whereas in advanced civilizations, they have more chances to reach the Eternal Realm. Only when they reach the Eternal Realm can they have an endless lifespan. I do not want the people around me to leave me one by one in the near future, and in the end I will be left alone. Lin Dong replied. But Lin Dong, if you leave, what if the nine-headed Zhao clan comes to attack again? Without you, we would not be able to fend it off at that time, and it would most likely cause very serious consequences to the galaxy. But if you really want to leave, I cannot stop you. I only hope that you can agree to one condition, Xia Yunchuan said. Uncle Xia, please speak. Lin Dong had wanted to say that he would settle the matter of the nine-headed Zhao clan before leaving. This was also what he had already planned from the very beginning. It was only when he heard Xia Yunchuan's words that Lin Dong changed his mind. He wanted to see what conditions Xia Yunchuan would propose. Lin Dong, I have also been stuck in the half-step Eternal Realm for a very long time. Last time when you broke through the Eternal Realm, I have already gained a little bit of insight, but it is just not enough. I hope that you can impart me some experience in breaking through the Eternal Realm, and help me to break through to the Eternal Realm. In this way, even if you leave, the galactic galaxy will be just as safe and sound with me. What do you think? After Xia Yunchuan finished speaking, he looked at Lin Dong with expectant eyes. He was not the only one. Both mother and daughter, Xia Zhougui and Lu Mayan, also looked at Lin Dong with some expectations in their eyes as they waited for his answer. If Lin Dong could really help Xia Yunchuan break through to the Eternal Realm, that would be perfect. It was just that everyone understood the truth that the law was not to be passed on lightly. Unless it was father and son or master and disciple, or a very close relative. Otherwise, no one would pass on such precious experience. While Lin Dong's heart was bitterly smiling at this moment. This was because he really did not know how to help Xia Yunchuan, nor did he have any experience to pass on. To say experience, Lin Dong only had experience in spending money. No one would probably believe it when he said it. Everything that Lin Dong had today was all obtained from his efforts to spend money. If he was truly able to help Xia Yunchuan make a breakthrough, Lin Dong would definitely not be stingy. After all, doing so would give the galaxy an extra layer of protection, and Lin Dong believed that once he reached the Star Void realm, it would not be long before he would be able to obtain enough divine magnificence points to continue to enhance his strength. By the time he returned again, he might not be able to look at the eternal realm anymore long ago. Uncle Xia. It's not that I am unwilling to help you, I also hope that the galaxy can have one more eternal realm so that there can be an additional layer of security as well. It's just that there might not be enough time as I will have to leave later on. Lin Dong shook his head and said. He did not say that he could not help, he only said that there was not enough time because he knew that even if he said it, no one would believe it. Lin Dong's words caused all four of Xia Yunchuan to be disappointed. Sure enough, he was still unwilling to help the Xia family. Thinking about it was also right. If another eternal realm powerhouse appeared in the galaxy, Lin Dong's position as the Galaxy Lord would be threatened. No one would be willing to do so. Lin Dong was not a saint. There was no reason for him to get himself into trouble. I see. Rather, it was me who took the risk. Xia Yunchuan lost his head. Although he had already anticipated this outcome. However, the fact that Lin Dong had actually said it still disappointed Xia Yunchuan. The last time he had witnessed Lin Dong break through the eternal realm and execute the eternal Dharma phase golden body, it had indeed inspired him greatly. It was just that it was not enough to want to break through the eternal realm with this amount of enlightenment. Xia Yunchuan still needed more in order to help him cross this heavenly barrier. He had thought that Lin Dong was about to leave and would agree to help himself for the sake of the safety of the galaxy. Unexpectedly, Lin Dong was still unwilling. This was also something that could not be helped. If one thought differently, it was him who had stepped into the eternal realm one step ahead of Lin Dong. It was also unlikely that he would agree to help Lin Dong. The saying that one mountain could not accommodate two tigers was equally applicable to humans. Lin Dong looked at Xia Yunchuan's family's expression and could not help but explain, Uncle Xia. I really do not have the time. There are two other guys with terrifying strength waiting for me now. I can't keep them waiting for a long time or the consequences will be very serious. Oh? There are still people in the Milky Way galaxy whose strength can terrorize you? Xia Yunchuan was filled with disbelief. There really isn't one in the Milky Way galaxy, but the two of them aren't from the Milky Way galaxy. Not from the Milky Way galaxy? Then where are they from? From an advanced civilization. Advanced civilization? Is that the advanced civilization you're going to? Precisely. But they have another identity that I think you should have heard of. Lin Dong sold a lie. What identity? Cosmic Enforcers. What? Xia Yunchuan's family shuddered, staring with wide eyes, their faces covered in shock. A Cosmic Enforcer? Lin Dong had actually encountered a Cosmic Enforcer? Moreover, the other party was still waiting for him. How was this possible? How could the Xia family, as the royal family of the Milky Way galaxy, not know about the Cosmic Enforcer? That was a group of perverts that maintained the order of the entire universe. Basically, they belonged to the divine dragons. Although very few people could see them. However, their reputation was resounding throughout the entire universe. This was a group of guys that truly terrified countless beings. Chapter 756, The Little Cotton Coat is Stolen. You said that you met the Cosmic Enforcers? Ah. And they're still waiting for you right now? Xia Yunchuan stuttered and asked. Obviously he was also shocked by this news from Lin Dong. Yes. Lin Dong replied with just one word. Then where are they now? Right near the Emperor Star, but it is in a spatial rift, so you cannot see them. Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue both glanced at each other, and both of them were shocked according to Lin Dong's meaning. They guessed that it should be that these two Cosmic Enforcer lords had seen Lin Dong's talent, so they invited him to go to a high-level civilization to develop. And Lin Dong had made a condition that he wished to bring some well-connected people along with him, so that they would have a greater chance of breaking through the eternal realm and obtaining endless longevity. The key was that these two Cosmic Enforcer lords even agreed. This was somewhat unbelievable. How talented did this brat Lin Dong have to be? Only then could he make the Cosmic Enforcer lords all agree to his condition of bringing people there. However, on second thought, the two of them were relieved. At a young age, Lin Dong was able to break through to the eternal realm and become the lord of the galaxy, so how could he be compared to an ordinary genius? The scene fell into a short silence. At this time, Lin Dong said, Uncle Xia, don't worry. Before I leave, I will take the 2 cosmic law enforcement officers to make a trip to the Behemoth Galaxy to collect some interest from the 9-headed Zhao clan first, and in the meantime, deter the neighboring powerhouses, with the cosmic law enforcement officers stepping in. I don't want to think that no one will make a move against the Galaxy in the future. Lin Dong's words once again verified what Xia Yunchuan thought in his heart. This kid's talent was absolutely terrifyingly high. Otherwise, how could he have gotten into the eyes of the Cosmic Enforcer Lord, not only agreeing to his conditions, but also helping him to resolve his troubles? Lin Dong, since this is the case, there is nothing we can say but wish you a safe journey. I hope you can achieve more in the advanced civilization, and don't forget that the Milky Way Galaxy is your hometown. I will, Uncle Xia. No matter where I am, the Milky Way Galaxy is my home, and after I leave, the Milky Way Galaxy will be in your hands. No problem. As long as the 9-headed Zhao clan doesn't come to make trouble, I guarantee that the Milky Way Galaxy will never be in chaos, and what it was like when you left, it will only be better when you come back. Father, mother, 9th grandfather, I also want to follow Lin Dong. Xia Mu suddenly interjected. The 3 of them immediately turned their gazes towards Xia Mu. And Xia Mu was not the least bit fearful as she locked eyes with the 3. At this time, she could not show the slightest bit of timidity. Since she had already decided, she had to work hard to pursue her happiness. Little 19, what did you just say? Xia Yunchuan looked at her and asked. I said that I want to follow Lin Dong and leave the Milky Way Galaxy together. Xia Mu said firmly. Do you know where they are going? How long will they be able to come back after going? You're just willing to leave us behind and those brothers who love you and love you? Xia Yunchuan's face was a bit ugly. In fact, it was reasonable to say that he should be happy that he got his daughter to follow Lin Dong, an eternal realm, to a high-level civilization. After all, the chances were much greater there than in the Milky Way Galaxy. Perhaps the next time he returned, Xia Mu would have already broken through to the eternal realm. But as a father, or a father who spoiled his daughter, Xia Yunchuan was somewhat unable to accept Xia Mu's choice of ignoring her family and following Lin Dong away. It was said that daughters were their father's little cotton jacket. Now Xia Yunchuan felt that the little coat was about to be taken away by Lin Dong. How could he feel good in his heart? Father, I want to go. I hope you can fulfill me. Xia Mu whispered. You. Xia Yunchuan was about to speak, but was interrupted by Lu Mai and Mumu. Have you already decided? You will follow Lin Dong no matter what. Aha! Mother! I have decided. I hope you guys can fulfill me. You guys don't want me to go back to that state the other day again. Mumu! You've grown up. Your father and I can't keep you around all the time. In the future you'll have your own life. Since you've already made your decision, we'll all support you. It's just that no matter where you go, you must think that there's still a home here, and there's still a lot of family members waiting for you to come back. Lu Mianyan touched Xia Mu's head and said. I know. Thank you, mother, thank you, father, no matter where I go, I will think of you all. Xia Mu choked and said. Little 19. You. Alas. Xia Yunchuan originally had a lot more to say, but just seeing Xia Mu's appearance, it eventually turned into a sigh. It was just like what Muddy Yen had just said. Xia Mu had already grown up. They as parents couldn't keep their daughter by their side all the time. Since their daughter had better choices, a bigger stage, and better development, it was only right that parents should fully support her instead of dragging their feet. Following Lin Dong to a high-level civilization was not an opportunity that anyone had. If you miss this one, you might not be able to have it again in this lifetime. Staying in the Milky Way Galaxy, the chances of breaking through to the Eternal Realm were indeed slim. With Xia Mu's talent, it was basically impossible. Only if he went to a high-level civilization would he have a chance. Lin Dong. I am leaving Mumu to you. You must be good to her in the future. You must not bully her. There are times when she may have a little temper. This is all because we are spoiled. I hope that you can be more tolerant. Lu Mianyan said to Lin Dong. Lin Dong was now at a loss for words. He had just agreed to let Xia Mu follow him just because he saw that she was too pitiful. Now it was bad. In the eyes of Mr. and Mrs. Xia Yunchuan, he had already become their son-in-law. Come on. This matter can't be explained clearly at all. The more it is explained, the more confusing it becomes. Lin Dong looked at Xia Mu. He only saw a hint of expectation in her eyes, a hint of begging. This was a woman who had gathered thousands of favorites in the Milky Way Galaxy. It was estimated that in her 20 years of life, there was only happiness and joy, completely unaware of what pain was. Just because she met herself. Turned into the current appearance. Sweet and sour, bitter and spicy all tasted. If he had explained things clearly. Mr. and Mrs. Xia Yunchuan would definitely not agree to Xiaomu following them. She'd still go back to being a teetotaler by then. It was better to agree to it first. Who let his heart go soft? Don't worry, Aunt Lu. I will take care of Xiaomu and won't let her suffer. Lin Dong said stiffly, that's reassuring to me. With you around, I believe Mumu will not be wronged. Lu Mayan said with a smile. However, anyone could tell that she was smiling with tears. The daughter that she had raised for more than 20 years and loved the most was about to leave her. Who could feel comfortable in their heart? However, if Xiaomu could have a better development by following Lin Dong and break through to the Eternal Realm at some point in the future, it would all be worth it. Xia Yunchuan had wanted to put in a few harsh words. If Lin Dong dared to bully Xiaomu, he would definitely not let him off or anything. But it suddenly occurred to him that he seemed to be unable to defeat Lin Dong. He could only stop. For a while, he was bored and did not know what to say. Chapter 757, Yi Qingdao's Decision. Lin Dong. Can we meet the two Cosmic Enforcer Lords? Xia Zhouyue suddenly opened her mouth and asked. I'm afraid it's a bit difficult. They do not like to show their faces much, Lin Dong replied. Don't worry. We won't talk, we just want to meet the honorable faces of the Cosmic Enforcer's Lords. They are legendary figures that only exist in the historical records of the Xia family. If we fail to meet them this time, I guess we won't have another chance in this lifetime. I hope you can help and fulfill a wish of ours. That's fine. I'll think of a way. Let you guys meet once. Lin Dong agreed after some thought. He knew that Xia Zhouyue still did not quite believe what he had said. That was why she insisted on wanting to meet the Cosmic Enforcer. It was just a meeting. This was a request that Lin Dong felt he could still fulfill. Thank you then. Xia Zhouyue thanked. It's all right. It's not certain whether it will be a success or not. Then, your family will reunite first. I still have a few things that I need to take care of, so I will come back to you when I leave. Lin Dong finished speaking and stood up before preparing to leave Lin Dong. Xia Mu suddenly shouted. There was a hint of fear in her eyes as she looked at Lin Dong, probably because she was afraid that Lin Dong would not come back once he left this way. Don't worry. Since I have promised you, I will definitely not go back on my word. Lin Dong looked at Xia Mu and comforted him. I believe you. Lin Dong smiled and without another word, he casually tore open a spatial crack and his entire body stepped into it. The spatial crack then closed as if it had never appeared before. Lin Dong just disappeared without a trace. The two of them, Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue, watched Lin Dong leave and were filled with envy. Although they knew that the Eternal Realm could walk through spatial cracks and was able to greatly shorten the rush time. However, when Lin Dong truly performed it in front of them, it still shook the hearts of the two. Between a half-step Eternal Realm and a true Eternal Realm, it appeared that there was only a half-step difference, but in reality, it was a world of difference. After Lin Dong left, Xia Yunchuan looked at Xia Zhouyue and asked, Ninth uncle. Do you think what Lin Dong said is true or false? It should be true. With his identity as the Lord of the Milky Way, there is no need to lie about such matters, but why the Cosmic Enforcer suddenly appeared in the Milky Way galaxy is a question, and according to the historical records of the Xia family, it is basically difficult for the Cosmic Enforcers to notice the lower-level civilizations. Xia Zhouyue replied. Is it possible that Lin Dong's breakthrough to the Eternal Realm caused a huge commotion that happened to startle the passing Cosmic Enforcers and was searched for by them, who then saw Lin Dong's talent and invited him to join a high-level civilization? It's very possible. Blue Star. In the Yi family's ancestral land, Yi Qingdao was burying her head in the affairs of the Donglai Chamber of Commerce. Since Lin Dong had handed over the management of the Donglai Chamber of Commerce to the Yi family, Yi Qingdao definitely had to do her best for Lin Dong, and since Lin Dong had told her to wait, she would wait quietly. Yi Qingdao believed that Lin Dong would not forget her. The thought of the young master she followed stepping into the Eternal Realm and becoming the Lord of the Milky Way, Yi Qingdao was so excited that she could not sleep all night long. She had only wanted to find a place to return to in the first place. At that time, Lin Dong did not really have any advantages compared to Lu Sanxiao and these people who were pursuing her. It was just that Lin Dong had saved her at that time. Plus, Yi Qingdao felt comfortable and relaxed with Lin Dong. There was not the oppressive feeling that one would feel with other big shots. With her own intuition as a woman, Yi Qingdao felt that Lin Dong was a person worth trusting, therefore, she chose Lin Dong without hesitation. Unexpectedly, Lin Dong's performance later refreshed her perception time and time again. First, he had destroyed the Wen family that ranked last among the 8 great families. Then, he destroyed the Yin family, which was ranked 4th among the 8 great families. In the end, he even broke through the eternal realm under the watchful eyes of the entire imperial domain, destroying the remnants of the celestial dynasty and becoming the lord of the Milky Way. Nowadays, Lin Dong was already the undoubted #1 person in the galaxy, and even the great Emperor Xia Yunchuan had to respectfully salute when he met him. As Lin Dong's maid, Yi Qingdao's status had of course risen, and in the Milky Way galaxy, no one dared to offend her. This was something that Yi Qingdao once did not even dare to think about. Until now, she was still glad for her decision. This was the opportunity given to her by the heavens to change her destiny, and it was good that she grasped it, otherwise, she would definitely regret it for the rest of her life. While Yi Qingdao was concentrating on her work, a spatial crack suddenly appeared in the study where she was. Lin Dong walked out from inside. He did not deliberately conceal his aura. Hence, the moment Lin Dong appeared, Yi Qingdao spotted him. "Young master!" Yi Qingdao quickly stood up and shouted in surprise. "Light dance! It's been hard on you." Lin Dong smiled as he saw Yi Qingdao working. "It is not hard work. It is light dance's good fortune to be able to work for Gongzi. Put down the work in your hands first. I have something to ask you this time." "Good. Please sit down, Your Excellency." After Yi Qingdao finished speaking, she moved to give Lin Dong a seat. Lin Dong also walked over and sat down without any politeness. The current him did not need to be polite. This was because the more polite he was, the more nervous others would become light dance. "You have also followed me for a short period of time, I have come to give you 2 choices this time," Lin Dong said after sitting down. "Young master, please speak." Yi Light Dance stood beside Lin Dong and respectfully returned. "I will be leaving the Milky Way galaxy soon to develop in a more advanced civilization. You can either follow me or stay and help me manage the Dawn Light Chamber of Commerce. No matter what you choose, I will support you. You can think about it before answering me." "Young master, there's no need to think about it, I choose to leave with you," Yi Qingdao replied without hesitation. Although she did not understand why Lin Dong wanted to leave the galaxy. However, Yi Qingdao's heart was already firm in her belief. From now on, she would choose to follow Lin Dong wherever he went. Unless Lin Dong no longer needed her, then she would have no choice. Otherwise, Yi Qingdao would definitely not choose to leave Lin Dong Light Dance. "You may not understand yet. I am leaving this time and I don't know when I will be able to come back. If you choose to leave with me, it means that you will be leaving your loved ones and friends, and coming back again may already be different. Don't worry. Even if you choose to stay, I won't blame you. Gongzi. From now on, unless you no longer need me and want me to leave, then I have no choice, otherwise I will never leave you. No matter where you go, I will follow," Yi Qingdao said firmly. Lin Dong looked at Yi Qingdao's determined eyes, knowing that she had already made up her mind in her heart. He also no longer tried to persuade her. "Then go and say goodbye to your family, I will wait for you here, grab some time to make arrangements and I will leave instantly," Lin Dong said. "Okay. Young master. Then I will go out first. Go." Receiving Lin Dong's consent, Yi Qingdao turned around and left. Chapter 758. 2 more thinking good? Yi Qingdao left to go say goodbye to his own family, so Lin Dong stayed in the study. When Yi Qingdao returned, he would take Yi Qingdao to pick up Xiamu and then leave after meeting up with Bailey Yanhong. Imperial Star, in the Imperial Palace. Xia Yunchuan's family was still in their room. "Moo. Are you really sure you want to follow Lin Dong and leave?" Lu Mayan looked at Xiamu and asked seriously. "Mother, I want to gamble once, please fulfill me, otherwise I am afraid that if I miss this opportunity, I will regret it for the rest of my life in the future," Xiamu pleaded. "Mumu, for you to have this kind of opportunity, it's reasonable to say that we as parents should support you instead of dragging you down, but you were spoiled since you were a child. I'm afraid that if you leave us, you won't be able to adapt to life outside." "Don't worry. Mother. I have grown up, I will take care of myself, and Lin Dong will also take care of me. Actually, Mother Empress has already seen that Lin Dong and you are not that kind of relationship yet, and he doesn't particularly want to take you away, so I'm afraid that you will suffer in the future. Mother Empress. Alright. Mother Empress understands. You have the right to pursue your own happiness, it's just that you've always been the pearl of the empire, and it's only right that you should be favored by all the humans of the Milky Way galaxy, instead of taking the initiative to stick it up yourself like you're doing now. Lu Muddy Yen said heartily. Mother Empress. I did it voluntarily. I like Lin Dong. From the moment he saved me, his shadow has been planted in my heart, and it has been branded very, very deeply. Xia Yunchuan looked at Xiamu, who had already made up her mind with a complicated expression. His heart was very unfavorable. The daughter that he had raised and doted on for so many years had just been abducted by Lin Dong. The key was that his own daughter had fallen back on him. Looking at Lin Dong's appearance, it seemed that he still did not want it. What is this called? Where would he put his great emperor's face? If it wasn't for the fact that he really couldn't beat Lin Dong. He really wanted to teach this brat a lesson. Blue Star. Lin Dong did not wait long in the study before the door was pushed open. It was Yi Qingdao who had returned. She was a little out of breath as she returned to the study. She had simply given an explanation to her family. Lin Dong was still waiting in the study. Yi Qingdao could not let Lin Dong wait for long. Why did you come back so quickly? Lin Dong asked suspiciously. Young master. I will just greet my family, they all support me unconditionally. Yi Qingdao gasped and replied. Alright then. We'll go pick up Xiamu here, and she'll leave with us as well. Alright. Young master. Yi Qingdao was not the least bit surprised that the 19th princess would follow. Lin Dong led Yi Qingdao to tear open a spatial crack and walked in, arriving at the Emperor Star, Xia Yunchuan's residence. Xiamu's family was still in their room. Lin Dong spoke as soon as he stepped out from the spatial crack. Uncle Xia, let's go. I will take you all to meet the cosmic enforcers. Then I will trouble you. Xia Yunchuan replied. It's fine. Lin Dong said and then walked out of the room with Yi Qingdao. Xiamu and Lu Mayan then followed. Xia Yunchuan and Xia Zhouyue glanced at each other and followed suit. Arriving outside the room, Lin Dong took the lead and flew up while the others followed. Arriving at the sky above the Emperor Star, Lin Dong stopped his stance and waited for everyone to arrive. Only after all the personnel had arrived did Lin Dong say, Xiamu, we will be leaving soon, are you sure you want to follow along? Xiamu seemed to glance at Lu Mayan and Xia Yunchuan and said in a firm tone, Lin Dong, I am certain that I want to leave with you. Alright then. Lin Dong finished speaking and casually waved his hand, tearing a crack hundreds of kilometers long in the void in front of him. It was different from usual when Lin Dong tore a small spatial crack that could only squeeze into his body. The huge spatial crack emitted a gust of chilling aura. The kind of strong wind that blew out from inside like a knife-slashing wind was no joke either. If one hadn't reached the eternal realm, their body basically wouldn't be able to withstand it. A half-step eternal realm might be able to withstand it for a while, but it wouldn't be too long. Furthermore, there were all sorts of cracks that appeared from time to time inside, and once engulfed, it was very likely that one would be directly torn to pieces. Even if one was lucky enough to survive, there was no telling where one would be transported to. The huge spatial cracks began to peel away like both sides, revealing the scene inside. It was pitch black. Xia Yunchuan and the others carefully looked at the situation in the spatial crack. What is this? They found a point of a different color in the midst of the pitch blackness. This dot was particularly conspicuous in the spatial rift. Sister Hong. Come out for a moment first. Lin Dong shouted at the spatial rift. After Lin Dong shouted, that dot began to rapidly grow larger. Almost instantly, it came to the edge of the spatial rift, and its size turned into the appearance of a huge island, hundreds of kilometers long, which happened to be about the same size as its body. What is this? A turtle? Xia Yunchuan and the others were shocked as they looked at this giant turtle that appeared not far away. What species of turtle is this? It was actually able to grow this big? Moreover, the aura emanating from its body caused a few of Xia Yunchuan's people to be fearful. Plus, this big guy was able to walk casually through the spatial cracks. If they hadn't guessed wrong, this should be an eternal realm big turtle so terrifying. This was the second eternal realm that Xia Yunchuan had seen. The first one was naturally Lin Dong. The turtle came to the edge of the spatial crack and squeezed out directly, appearing above the Emperor Star in front of Lin Dong and the others. At this time, a flirtatious voice came from the turtle. Lin Dong, your kid has brought 2 more love interests? You can You're not very old, but you have quite a few mistresses. If you keep messing around like this, my 7-colored glazed sect will not accept you. Xia Yunchuan. Several people looked at the voice, only to see that a middle-aged beautiful woman had appeared on the back of the big turtle at some point. Behind her, there was a group of people. These people were all women except for one young man, and they were all very young. Brother Lin. You are very good. There's my style, huh? Chen Jingzihan said with a big smile. At the same time, he also gave Lin Dong a thumbs up the moment Xia Yunchuan and Xia Jiuyue saw Bailey Yanhong. Their hearts were shaken. A nameless fear spread throughout their bodies. This woman was definitely the strongest person they had ever seen. From her, Xia Yunchuan felt an even more terrifying aura than Lin Dong. Just casually standing there. It all made them feel an icy, bone-chilling chill. Was this the legendary cosmic enforcer? It was true that it was better to be known than to be seen. What a bunch of fear-inducing fellows. Sister Hong. Brother Chen. Don't flirt with me, these are just friends, it hasn't gotten to the point you are talking about. Lin Dong laughed bitterly. Friends? Ghosts will believe you. If they were really friends, why are they all female? They are also beautiful. You have grown up without a single male friend? Bailey Yanhong directly exposed Lin Dong's lie. Her words left Lin Dong speechless. What Bailey Yanhong said seemed to be the truth. The people that Lin Dong had taken away this time were all beautiful women, there was not a single man. However, Lin Dong was really quite wronged. Other than being boyfriend and girlfriend with Yun Shi, the others were really just friends at the moment. Perhaps a little closer than friends. But not to the point of boyfriend and girlfriend yet. Chapter 759. Irritated. Bailey Yanhong saw that Lin Dong's appearance was a little embarrassed and no longer continued to flirt. Not to mention 2 more people, even if there were 300 to 500 more, it would still be a trivial matter for her as an elder of the 7-colored glazed sect. Of course, it was limited to arranging them into the 7-colored glazed sect and letting them fend for themselves, at most giving them some care, and what they could ultimately achieve would still depend on their own talent and efforts as well as their luck. If according to Bailey Yanhong's initial thoughts, those with insufficient talent would need to be piled up to the eternal realm with various heavenly materials and treasures as a means of gaining Lin Dong's favor and tying him to the tree that was the 7-colored glazed sect. However, if the number of people was too large, even Bailey Yanhong, as an elder of the 7-colored glazed sect, did not have such great ability. Something that could enhance talent, no matter where it was an absolutely precious item. Even if one wanted to buy it, it would be very difficult to do so. This was because very few people would put such things out for sale. Occasionally, some large auction houses might appear in order to raise their popularity. And every time it appeared, it would cause a mad rush from all the major forces, and the final transaction would be at a sky-high price. Even a superpower like the 7-colored glazed sect didn't have much in stock. If there were only a few people like Yunshi, Bailey Yanhong could still think of a way. After all, not everyone needed it, and if the number of people was really too many, there was nothing she could do among them, those like Huangfu Shiyu and Luo Hongyu whose talent was already very good. Basically, they couldn't be used. As long as there was a systematic cultivation method, they would soon be able to step into the eternal realm on their own terms. The specific situation would have to wait until they returned to the 7-colored glazed sect and then carefully observe. Lin Dong, since the matter has been dealt with, let's hurry up and leave. Don't waste any more time, we still have to make a trip to the Behemoth Galaxy to settle your worries. Bailey Yanhong spoke. As time passed, she was now feeling more and more on the verge of being unable to suppress that desire in her body. It was imperative to rush back to the 7-colored glazed sect as soon as possible to seek help from her master. If it broke out halfway, the consequences would be unimaginable. As one of the rarest special physiques in the universe, the charming body was truly extraordinary. Once it was aroused, with Bailey Yanhong's Eternal Realm supreme level battle power, it was surprisingly difficult to suppress it. I see, Sister Hong, let's go now. Lin Dong flew up after saying this. Yi Qingdao followed closely behind. Xiamu reluctantly glanced at his parents, then without any further hesitation, followed Lindong as he flew towards the back of the giant turtle. After the three arrived, Bailey Yanhong glanced at the several people from Xia Yunchuan who were still standing at the same spot, then she turned around and walked towards the palace while the others followed her. A mere ordinary glance, which did not carry any hostility, had already caused Xia Yunchuan's few people to fall into an ice cave, their bodies feeling unable to move. Worthy of being a legendary universe enforcer. This kind of strength was truly unimaginably strong. Xia Yunchuan several people sighed in their hearts. If their daughter could follow such a strong person away, her future achievements might surpass theirs. As parents, one would feel immensely gratified while being unwilling to part with them. Bailey Yanhong led the crowd into the luxurious building. The giant tortoise tore open a spatial crack, drilled in and disappeared, and the spatial crack quickly closed. Only Xia Yunchuan, Xia Jiufeng, and Lu Mian were left in the sky above the Emperor Star. Ninth Uncle. Do you think this Lord Cosmic Enforcer could have surpassed the Eternal Realm? Reached a higher level? Xia Yunchuan asked curiously. Don't know. The Eternal Realm is already a heavenly rift for us. It is simply impossible to speculate. Even in the Xia family's countless years of historical records, there are no details, but it is certain that even if this Lord Cosmic Enforcer has not transcended the Eternal Realm, he is still at the top of the Eternal Realm, or at least too much stronger than a first-timer like Lindong. Xia Zhouyu looked at Lindong's direction of their departure and said slowly. Alas. I also don't know if I will be able to catch a glimpse of the scenery of the Eternal Realm in this life. Xia Yunchuan sighed and said. Yunchuan. You can't be discouraged. When Lindong didn't appear, to say who in the galaxy could be the first to step into the Eternal Realm, that person would undoubtedly be you. Now since Lindong has gone ahead and inspired you, then you should step into the Eternal Realm even faster. I know, Ninth Uncle. Lindong said that he would solve all the hidden dangers of the galaxy, then the galaxy should not be threatened. Next I will immediately go into seclusion, and will never ride out of seclusion until I reach the Eternal Realm, Xia Yunchuan firmly said. He was also stimulated. It was important to realize that at first, he was known as the person with the strongest talent in the galaxy and also the person with the best chance of breaking through to the Eternal Realm. As a result, Lindong suddenly appeared out of nowhere and directly broke through the Eternal Realm, leaving him unable to even see the taillights. Moreover, Xia Yunchuan was able to tell that Cosmic Enforcer Lord had just held Lindong in high regard and appreciated him. The reason why such a situation had occurred. It must be because Lindong's talent had been recognized by the other party. Otherwise, how could a person from a low-level civilization without any background make the Cosmic Enforcer Lord so polite? The other party valued Lindong but was unwilling to even look at him. Xia Yunchuan's self-esteem was dealt a severe blow. That was why he had decided to go into seclusion and never come out until he reached the Eternal Realm. It is good that you have such determination. Yunchuan, you don't lack talent. As long as you are firm in your beliefs, you will reach the Eternal Realm sooner or later. Ninth Uncle, I'm already old, I'm afraid I have no hope in this life, so don't worry about going into seclusion. During the time you're in seclusion, I'll be sitting on the Emperor Star. Thank you, Ninth Uncle. Lu Mian didn't interrupt the two's conversation from the side, not even hearing what they were talking about, and looked straight at the place where Xiaomu left. She was still worried and saddened by her daughter's departure. As the 19th princess of the Galaxy Empire, Xiaomu had already gathered thousands of favorites from the moment she was born. Surrounded by a group of maids of honor, there was no need for her to worry about anything. But this time, she left. Going to an advanced civilization. She would no longer be a princess. Without maids of honor, she would need to do everything herself and would probably be bullied by those high and mighty. Although Lindong is powerful and has great talent. But when he reached an advanced civilization, he might die out and it would probably be difficult to protect them. Xia Yunchuan also noticed that something was wrong with Lu Mian. He reached over Lu Mianyan's shoulders and softly consoled, Nianyan, don't worry too much, little Langtine has grown up, she will leave us sooner or later, we can't be by her side forever to protect her, this is the path she chose for herself, even though there might be some bumps in the road, I am sure that she will get through it. I know. But the thought that I might not be able to see Mumu for a long time makes me feel bad in my heart. Lu Mianyan choked. Xia Yunchuan gathered Lu Mian in his arms and did not speak. In this only daughter, he had invested too much of his heart and feelings. Now separated. It was just as hard in his heart. Just as a man. He couldn't cry like Lu Mianyan. Chapter 760, Addictive. A group of people gathered in the luxurious building on the back of the giant turtle. Yi Qingdao and Xiaomu stood behind Lin Dong respectfully. The others were looking at Lin Dong with smiles on their faces, waiting for him to introduce the identities of these two people. Yun Shi and the others were already accustomed to the fact that Lin Dong had brought two more supreme beauties up with him. They also understood Lin Dong. He definitely did not have any substantial relationship with these two yet. It was just that Lin Dong was a person with a somewhat soft heart. He was not very good at refusing some of the requests between his friends Lin Dong. "Aren't you going to introduce these two?" Bailey Yanhong asked. "Her name is Yi Qingdao, she is my subordinate. I met her when I first came to the Imperial Domain, and she has also followed me for quite a long time, and this time, she is also hoping to go to a high-level civilization to see the world." Lin Dong pointed at Yi Qingdao and introduced her. At this time, Yi Qingdao followed suit and stood out and said, "Hello sisters. My name is Yi Qingdao, I am the young master's maid. When I was being chased, it was the young master who happened to pass by and saved me. At that time, I secretly vowed that I would always follow the young master in this life to serve him and repay him for saving my life." Lin Dong then pointed at Xiaomu and introduced, "Her name is Xiaomu, she is the Princess Royal Highness of the Galaxy Empire. Well, and I are good friends. Hello sisters. My name is Xiaomu, in fact, Mr. Lin is also my savior, and I'm not a princess anymore, so I hope you all take care of me." Xiaomu also stood out and introduced herself. "Lin Dong. Tell me honestly, do you only save beautiful women?" Bailey Yanhong teased. "Sister Hong. Don't make fun of me," Lin Dong said breathlessly. "Isn't what I said the truth? Otherwise, why did you only save these two beautiful sisters?" "I have saved quite a few people. If you don't believe me, ask Light Dance, she has been with me for a longer period of time. We have rescued many planets together." "This sister. What the young master said is true. Moreover, we wanted to follow along on our own, and it's not like the young master could refuse." Next, Lin Dong introduced the two of them to Bailey Yanhong as well as Yun Shi and these people. When Yun Shi was introduced, it was of course as his girlfriend. Everyone was a woman, and a beautiful one at that. Yi Qingdao and Xiaomu again put themselves in a very low position. Especially Xiaomu, it was completely impossible to see that she was a princess highness who had gathered thousands of favorites. A bunch of women quickly mingled. Yun Shi, the official girlfriend, didn't mind, so the other women were even less qualified to mind. Chenjing Zihan was watching all of this from the side, that was admiring. This tactic of Lin Dong's could be said to have been perfected. How on earth did he manage to make so many stunning beauties get along so well? In Chenjing Zihan's hometown, it was normal for strong men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Beautiful women love heroes well. Not to mention a few, it was a dozen, dozens of them were no longer in the minority. After all, once you step into the eternal realm, you can have an endless lifespan. Some live tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years of the old monster, that is the real concubines, children and grandchildren. But in that case, the many wives and concubines would not get along so well as Lin Dong's young lovers. Those would all be hooking and fighting for favor. They fought for strength, background and means. On the surface, they were polite and smiling, but secretly they couldn't wait for others to die. Chenjing Zihan's father was like that. Although his mother is the wife of the Tianqing mansion, but his father is the Tianqing mansion, in addition to his mother, there are more than 30 concubines. It was impossible not to marry them. In order for the Heavenly Star Mansion to prosper and spread its branches, every mansion lord would marry at least 20 to 30 concubines. This was the Chen family's ancestral tradition. If it wasn't for the fact that Chenjing Zihan's mother was powerful in her own right and had the 7-colored glazed sect as a backer, she wouldn't have been able to become the Heavenly Star Mansion's main lady and deter so many concubines. Each and every one of these concubines did not have a bad background in terms of strength, then Chenjing Zihan wouldn't be able to have the status and position he had now. He was now the young master of the Heavenly Star Mansion. He is the future master of the Heavenly Star Mansion. He didn't know how many brothers were spying on his position, hating for him to have an accident outside and never go back. Chenjing Zihan was prepared to find some time to learn from Lin Dong alone. His father used to be overwhelmed by these trivial matters. In the near future, he would also encounter these things. How could he play a coordinating role in the middle? This Lin Dong kid should be very knowledgeable. With Chenjing Zihan's strength, he could naturally tell that all these young lovers of Lin Dong were genuinely welcoming the newly arrived Yi Qingdao and Xiaomu. rather than a false sentiment. This situation was truly rare. Lin Dong saw that everyone was getting along so well under Yin Shi's coordinating role. He was also very pleased in his heart. Among these women, frankly speaking, Yin Shi was not considered the best in all aspects. Her talent was not strong, and her posture was not considered top tier. Huang Fu Xia, Yi Light Dance, and Xiaomu were all prettier than her. However, in Lin Dong's mind, Yun Shi was still a one-of-a-kind existence, and then there was Zhao Xian. These two women. One liked him and waited for him silently for several years, and as soon as she heard that he was dumped, she immediately confessed. One helped him manage Donglai capital without asking for anything in return, and even chose to sacrifice herself for his sake. The reason why Lin Dong's strength had risen so quickly when he was on Earth. Zhao Xian could not be credited enough. These two were also the two people in Lin Dong's heart that he could not let down. As for the words of the others, Lin Dong could only let nature take its course. Lin Dong. When we arrive at the Behemoth Galaxy, I will not step in and allow Zihan to go with you to settle the matter of the nine-headed Zhao clan. Bailey Yan Hong said to Lin Dong. All right. Sister Hong. Lin Dong replied. Zihan. When the time comes, you will accompany Lin Dong to teach the nine-headed Zhao clan a lesson, so that they will learn a lesson and stop oppressing other disadvantaged groups at will. Yes. Aunt Hong. Good then. I'm going to go into seclusion first, don't disturb me if there's nothing else. Bailey Yanhong turned around and left after saying that. She needed to go and fully suppress that stupid energy in her body to prevent them from exploding. If it was that some time ago, she was still able to suppress it with 90% of her strength. Now, if it was now, she already needed to suppress it with 10%. Hopefully, she would be able to hold on. As long as she returned to the seven-colored glazed sect and had her master there, then everything would be resolved. Otherwise, she would have to ask Lin Dong to help. But doing it that way, it is addictive. Bailey Yanhong sighed in her heart. She was not willing to have that kind of thing with a man so much younger than herself. Not even in the spiritual illusion realm. Moreover, once she became addicted, she was afraid that she would not be able to stay away from this brat Lin Dong in this life. Lin Dong. I'm also leaving, just let me know when you've waited for the place. Chen Jing Zihan said. Alright, brother Chen, thanks a lot then. Lin Dong thanked. What are you talking about? We are brothers, your matters are my matters. Chen Jing Zihan patted Lin Dong's shoulder before walking away as well. The giant tortoise walked through the spatial cracks at a very high speed. Although the Behemoth Galaxy was far away from the Milky Way Galaxy, it was also going to be reached very quickly with the spatial shuttling speed of the giant turtle. The author has something to say. Chapter 761, Arriving at the Behemoth Galaxy. The Behemoth Galaxy. As the name suggests, it was a galaxy composed of giant beasts. Countless races of starry sky behemoths converged here to flourish. It was a rank 5 civilization, and even in the cluster of galaxies, it was considered the topmost strength. Not only was the Behemoth Galaxy countless times more powerful than the Milky Way Galaxy of a rank 3 civilization, its scope was also much more expansive. To put it simply, any random top-ranked race here could sweep through the entire Milky Way Galaxy. The nine-headed Zhao clan was a representative of this. They could only barely squeeze into the top 10 in the Behemoth Galaxy, but if they weren't concerned about the cosmic enforcers. Once they used their full strength, they could completely and easily wipe out the Galaxy. Not only that. If the entire Milky Way Galaxy was moved to the Beast Galaxy, it was estimated that it wouldn't even occupy 1/10 of the area. One must know that the Milky Way Galaxy still had a large number of unexplored areas. These areas all add up to a much larger area than the known area of the Milky Way Galaxy. One could imagine how vast the range of the Behemoth Galaxy was. Since the territory of the nine-headed Zhao clan was at the edge of the Beast Galaxy, there was only a void space zone separating it from the Milky Way Galaxy. However, this void space zone was also quite wide. It was simply difficult for ordinary people to cross it. And the humans of the Milky Way Galaxy, to the nine-headed Augur clan, were again delicious food that could promote growth. That was why they had always wanted to control the Milky Way Galaxy in their hands. To put it bluntly, it was to keep all the humans in the Milky Way Galaxy in captivity, ready for them to eat and promote their rapid growth. But the nine-headed Augur clan, as a powerful race of a level 5 civilization, according to the cosmic convention, they could not just take action against the Galaxy of a level 3 civilization. This was the rule of the game set by advanced civilizations. The cosmic enforcers were the enforcers of this rule. If there were no cosmic enforcers and cosmic convention, then the universe would be a chaotic situation. Between the major galaxies and the major races, there would be wars and people would not be able to live. The strong would become stronger and stronger by devouring the weak, while the weak would have absolutely no chance to grow. This was a scenario that had once occurred countless years ago. At that time, there was no restriction of the cosmic convention. Even later, when advanced civilizations realized that something was wrong and a cosmic convention appeared, no one was willing to abide by it. They continued to do as they pleased, completely disregarding the cosmic convention. It wasn't until the appearance of the cosmic enforcers. Only then did it completely break these guys' ambitions. Some of the disobedient ones were severely punished. It even directly took action to exterminate a few of these arrogant archetypes. Only then did everyone wake up like a dream. From then on, the prestige of the cosmic enforcers resounded throughout the entire universe. Even after such a long time had passed, it still hadn't diminished in the slightest. Of course, the cosmic enforcers would also appear from time to time, and at regular intervals, they would uncover a few typical people who secretly violated the cosmic convention, and give them severe punishments. In fact, the reason why advanced civilizations formulated such a rule as the cosmic convention to bind all races in the universe, it wasn't entirely to maintain the order of the universe and protect the weak. They weren't that noble. More than anything else, they didn't want another advanced civilization over level 6 to be born in the baptism of war. That was the main reason. After all, the universe was too big, too big. If it was perennially under the compulsion of war, it might be possible that a high-level civilization would suddenly appear in any corner. This was something those rulemakers didn't want to see. The edge of the behemoth galaxy. The center of the nine-headed Zhao clan's territory. A huge crack suddenly appeared in space. A giant turtle crawled out of the spatial crack and stood in the void. Buzz! The giant tortoise let out a howl that seemed like a roar. It caused the countless creatures on the surrounding planets to feel dizzy, and they looked into the void above their heads in shock, wanting to know who exactly made this sound. The appearance of the giant tortoise also immediately caught the attention of the nine-headed Zhao clan. The patriarch of the nine-headed Zhao clan, Yuan He, and the grand elder, Yuan Shang, arrived at the first opportunity. Humans were the spirit of all things in the universe. That was why all the 10,000 races in the universe were imitating the physical illusion of humans. Thus, Yuan He and Yuan Shang both appeared in the likeness of humans. Only when fighting would they return to their original bodies and exert 100% of their fighting strength. Looking at the giant turtle that had inexplicably appeared in front of them, it was still emanating an aura that only belonged to Eternal Realm sovereign-level powerhouses. Both of them were somewhat puzzled in their impression. There didn't seem to be a turtle race in the giant beast galaxy, right? Even if there was, it was extremely weak. Why would such a giant turtle of the Eternal Realm appear here? And it just came with a voice. Obviously, it was some kind of bad comber. Wait! The two suddenly realized that something was wrong. They saw that there was actually a building on the back of the giant turtle. Is this giant turtle just a mount? Yuan Shang and Yuan He looked at each other. At this moment, both of their hearts felt extremely shaken. To be able to drive an Eternal Realm sovereign-level giant beast as a mount. It was clearly not something that an ordinary person could do. Even though it was just a turtle. But it was an Eternal Realm sovereign-level existence. To be able to tame a giant beast of this level. It was definitely only possible for a stronger existence to do so. Who the hell is it? And what did they want to do by coming to the territorial boundaries of the nine-headed Zhao clan? I wonder what your excellency is doing here in my nine-headed Zhao clan's territory. Yuan Shang couldn't help but ask. Long time no see. Scumbags of the nine-headed Zhao clan. Don't you remember me so quickly? A teasing voice resounded through the void. It made Yuan Shang and Yuan He frown. This fellow was indeed coming from a bad place. The two didn't answer, but instead stared at the building on the back of the giant tortoise with a deadly stare. They wanted to see who had come here to cause trouble. After Lin Dong finished speaking, he stepped out from the building with Chen Jingzihan and walked towards the two Yuan Shang. The moment they saw Lin Dong, Yuan Shang recognized who the person was. That newly promoted Eternal Realm of the Galaxy, Lin Dong. Not long ago, Lin Dong had given him a hard time when he had just stepped into the Eternal Realm. Therefore, Yuan Shang had a very deep impression of Lin Dongyi had crisscrossed the behemoth galaxy for so many years. He had never suffered such a big loss before. A galaxy away. He was actually chopped off the head of an eternal Dharma phase golden body by a swordlight from Lin Dong. Lin Dong's hand could be described as not very damaging and extremely insulting. This was for Yuan Shang. It was definitely a heavenly disgrace. One should know that he had already stepped into the Eternal Realm for a long time. Although he was still at the sovereign level. However, he had already reached the late stage of the sovereign level. On the other hand, Lin Dong had only just stepped into the Eternal Realm and was at the early stage of the sovereign grade. There was a difference of 2 small realms between the two. Yuan Shang did have some contempt for Lin Dong, the newly promoted Eternal Realm, which led to that result. It was just undeniable. The power of Lin Dong's sword was indeed somewhat terrifying. Even afterward, Yuan Shang still had some palpitations in his heart.